because I've heard bad things.
No, I've heard the movie's terrible.
Yeah.
Is the burger square?
Oh, that would have been so
huge.
Yeah, the only person I have heard from that actually kind of enjoyed the Minecraft movie was Brent himself.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I heard from someone today, early 20s, said that they didn't like it because they felt like it was for the younger generation, and that made them
I think
mad.
that's what Brent said as well.
Okay.
It's clearly aimed at kids,
Yeah.
but
And that made
probably
them mad
enjoyable.
because they're like, it's my generation that grew up on it. And I was like, well, technically, I guess.
Well, we all kind of did.
I was going to say.
Well, they should all be in their 20s now, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Minecraft's been out for a long time.
Yeah. Right. So if everything is working, shall we get this poop show on the road? Because I feel this could be a long one. That's what she said.
That's what she said. Ooh. What number is this?
232. Oh, there you are. Gawny's in.
Fixed it.
Yeah, the shared track is now.
Fixed it.
Yeah, there we go. Way!
Hey! And the camera's working. Way!
Yeah!
And we're getting an echo. Way!
Oh no!
I like the echo, though.
Is there an echo in here? Is there an echo in here?
Where's that coming from?
Let me make sure all my stuff's turned down.
Is it on my end?
It might be my end. Have a look.
232.
Yes, it's short and clearly aimed at kids, but Jason Momoa and Kylie's favourite Matt Berry were great.
Matt Berry's in there.
Matt Berry?
Then yes, I have to watch it. Are you kidding me? That's amazing.
Yeah, there's a clear echo coming from somewhere, but I'm not. And there's a small delay, so it's like it's coming out of an iPad or something.
It's not iPad, or it's not my iPad.
No, I mean it's.
Is that better?
Like.
Can I do it like
don't know.
There. I don't hear it.
It's not my end, is it? Because I haven't got anything else on. I've only got my headphones on.
What?
No,
Headphones turned mute.
Let me just close that. Let me try again.
Is it all working?
Okay.
We're nearly there, guys. We're nearly there.
No, I think it might have been because I had the two chats open. It might have been something to do with that.
Ah.
Yeah, so I think
Anyway.
I fixed it.
I got ice cream.
Right, yeah.
No, it was not my Mike. It was not my fault. This is someone in IT needs to make sure that all the technical issues are smoothed out first.
As Gawny eats ice cream and gets brain freeze before we start.
Yeah, let's go to Gawny
Need a
now.
brain to freeze.
Brent says Matt Berry has a very small part, not worth watching just for it. There's no small parts, just small actors, and I do like small actors. But
Oh, don't, because I was
Very got
no,
small parts. How do
No.
you know that?
no, honestly, I was so Kylie, you will appreciate this, right? So I was
Right.
listening to this podcast the other day called Friday Night Tights.
okay. Oh, it's wrestling. Okay.
No, it is not actually.
Dancing?
No, it's movies and pop culture and stuff like that. Don't ask. I have no idea
The
why it's called
tights,
that.
has
Anyway,
to be
but they were talking about the Zelda movie, and someone actually used the Link the Twink,
Oh,
and I was like, holy shit. They actually said, well, Link is a twink anyway,
Yes, he
isn't he?
is.
So it's like, oh, for fuck's sakes,
yay.
I can't get away from it.
No.
No.
God damn it.
No.
Right, yeah, 232.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I should have posted this out on the socials as well. So, yeah. I know, I'm in Blue Sky and yeah. Oh, so Gawny's done it as well. That's awesome. Thank you. Amazing. I did mine late. That's fine.
Woo, we got
Late-
a subscription.
Late as always.
Better late than
Gawny.
never, mate. Better late than never, because I
Of
haven't
course.
done it, so.
Yeah, right. Anyway, let's get recording and going and showing and all that thing. So, right, I'm going to start the recording. So, let's start the show in 3, 2.
Welcome to Rapid Reviews Radio Podcast, episode 232.
Yes.
I think so, yes. I am your co-host, Kylie Wild, and I'm joined by a rather full house today, here in the Big Brother house. Gawny, who is visiting
Hi.
today.
Hello.
We have we have best friend of the show, Mike Tinder.
Hello.
And I'm joined by my ever-present co-host, Pete Beckett.
Part of the furniture. Hello.
Oh.
And there's a reason why there's so many people here. Mostly so they can talk and I can drink. But that's not the real reason. The real reason we're here
You
together.
do that anyway.
I know, I'm going to do it. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's just inevitable.
It's a day that ends in Y. Of course it is.
Exactly. But the reason why we're all together today, joined together for one subject that is all dear to all of our hearts, and that is, well, a certain direct that was released last week. I don't remember. I've drank a lot since then. So I'm just going to say it was last week. But I know that I streamed it live on my channel. And I think
Oh, wow.
you know what I'm talking about. And that is the Goat Simulator Direct. That's why we're all here.
I'm sure we can make a 2-hour show out of a, what,
Yep.
10-minute direct?
No, it was a little longer. It was 30 minutes. Thank you very much.
I only caught the last 10 minutes, sorry.
A lot can happen in 30 minutes. And a lot did happen. And it was wonderful. And I loved every second of it. And you can go watch my video of it. Which is on my channel. But also it's going to be on YouTube. Also, you should check out my YouTube short. It's got 20,000 views today.
Oh wow.
I
Nice.
had a heart attack. That was insane.
Really?
So thank you so much to everyone out there. Yes.
Amazing.
I'll go do a share.
Wow. And it's not even me being funny. It was the game itself. So it's like.
Oh.
But thank you, Britt. But yes, no, the real reason we're here, if you want to believe the hype, I don't know, a little tiny something happened about, I don't know, some company, a little indie startup company called Nintendo.
I wouldn't say tiny. It's like 7.9 possibly.
Yes. I'm not going there. We've
One
gone there
time I
before, so
got
it got me in trouble before. But yes. But no, a little company you might have heard of called Nintendo. They did a thing.
Never heard of
Very-
them.
Yeah, me neither.
No.
But they did a very,
No.
very important thing. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we do that, my favorite part of the show, which is before I drink too much, actually might be my favorite part of the show. But
The second favourite part of the show.
second favorite part of the show is where I ask our guests how their week's been, what they've been playing. Gawny, how has your week been? What have you been playing?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I've had a couple extra days off from work this week, so it's all been pretty good. What have I been playing? Mainly PS4 games. Weirdly, I re-downloaded Metal Gear Solid 5
Nice.
and started that again, which means
Ground
you're
Zeroes or, Phantom
done
Pain?
Ground Zeroes and now I'm onto Phantom Pain kind of thing. And
Okay.
I'm just like, why have I done this to myself? This is going to be the next, 6 months of my life now kind of thing. So it's a great game. I love it. And I'm going to replay it all again just for the fun of it. So why not? Other than that, I've been playing...
I personally didn't get along with Phantom Pain. I thought Ground Zeroes was
I love Phantom
despite
Pain.
being short.
Yeah, it's basically the tech demo for Phantom Pain, essentially, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
there's a little bit extra in it here and there, but it's still but great game. Highly recommend if you've never played it. Other than that, I think the only games I've played this week are Mario Picross on the Game Boy games, which are on the Switch now. I
Nice.
didn't realise the same developers that make the Picross games on the Switch, like Jupiter, are the same ones who made that game as well. So I thought I'll give that a go for fun. And it's actually quite a big game for a Game Boy game, to be honest. There's something like 60, 70 odd different puzzles in it, and it takes ages to finish. So, but I managed to complete everything on it in the space of a week. So,
Nice.
yeah. So there we go. That's pretty much my week.
Sweet. I like that. It's very good. Mike Tindo, what about you? How's your week been? What you been playing?
My week has been alright. I haven't actually played many games, really, or many new games. I have played, continued playing Warriors Abyss. I've got really into that now. That's the Koei Tecmo roguelike game. And I've been playing a little bit of Pokemon TCG Pockets. I was very, very close to just giving up on that in general because I kept pulling really, really naff cards over and over and over again. And then today I pull the crown rare off the Pokeball, and it's like,
Oh wow.
no, I'm not putting any more money into the game. I am saving for a Nintendo Switch 2. I've already said that to myself.
Fair enough.
I owe that
Yep.
to myself.
Yeah,
I think
honestly, I've been coming across your Wonder Picks, and they've been pretty
Yeah.
poor recently.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely terrible, my word. And then when I do get a rare card, it's one I've already got like 3 or 5 of already. And it's like,
I've had
there
that
are
last
so
one as
many
well.
cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's almost like it's rigged, isn't it?
right. I know.
Yeah, it's almost like the probability rate's really
I have got
low.
the best X version.
Yeah.
There he is. Bibarel.
Yeah.
Yes.
The barrel.
Join the club.
Well, Pete, what about you? How's your week been? What have you been playing?
Been alright. Been a busy week. Been working all weekend, so not had a lot of time for games, but this is where the Steam Deck comes in very handy. Gotta love it. Really enjoying using that device because I've carried on playing a little bit more of Yakuza 0. Really, really enjoying that. I'm only up to chapter 3, and I had a message from my friend Kurt, the co-host from the Level Watchers, who said the opening for chapter 3 where Goro Majima comes in is one of the greatest things in video game history, and yes, it's the greatest intro in video games history. It's brilliant. So just going to plow on through that, but I have got a game that I need to review because the developers were very, very lucky, very, very nice to send us over a code, which is Which Way Up Galaxy Games. So Mike can obviously talk a little bit more about this as well, so I'm going to go into a bit more details. So Which Way Up Galaxy Games, apologies, I cannot remember the name of the developer. Mike, what's the name of the developer?
Total Flip Studio.
Thank you, Total Flip Studio. So they're an Australian-based developer who got some funding from the Australian government to help create this game, and it's basically the inspiration comes about from the gravity mechanics from Mario Galaxy, and decided to have a little play around with that in what is known as a mini game format. So there are I've only got 3 of the different challenges to do. So one of them is like gravity golf, one of them is essentially like kicking comets into a goal, so like football, and the other one is sort of like a platforming like challenge. And they have varying different degrees of difficulty. So you start at the lowest level, it's relatively easy, gets you used to the mechanics, and then gets harder and harder as you go on. And don't say it, Kylie. And the main draw is to try and get as many medals as you can by doing the quickest time that you can. And you won't be able to progress until you obviously get a certain amount of medals to move on to the next level. This game is quite challenging, and I quite like it.
Oh, yes.
There are some very, very difficult challenges that have made me go, holy crap, I don't want to play this anymore. But it's not unfair, it's just because it's just very, very difficult in the way it's programmed. Like, Mike, you'll know this is World 3 from the mini golf one, where you get the 3 different islands and you have to go round the 2 planets, like in the middle. Oh my
Yes.
god, that is really difficult, isn't it?
And trying to get the right gravitational pull so it actually goes round
Oh
and
wow.
hits
Yeah.
the hole where you want to go.
Yeah, so the way it is, you in the first section of it, you got a planet here at the top of the screen, a planet at the bottom of the screen, and you have to hit right through the middle of them, making sure it doesn't hit the gravitational pull from each planet to take it towards the bottom or the top of the screen, and then get into a hole that's on a third planet right in the middle of it at the end. Really, really difficult and very fun. I've been very much enjoying this game. I've been playing it mainly on the Steam Deck, and luckily the developers have asked for a bit of bug fixing and a bit of
Cool.
stuff with that. I have incurred 0 bugs apart from one. Where I
0?
had an I've had one small incident where, for some reason, when I was reloading a level, because you have to complete at least one challenge to be able to restart if you don't get to the time, so fine. The music wouldn't kick in for some strange reason, which was a bit strange, but once
Yeah.
I came out of the level and then went back into it, it was no problem. The developer did say that there was a weird moment where on their game where they had the keyboard come up, but I've not had any problems like that. The game's run absolutely flawlessly on Steam Deck. It looks very, very nice for an indie developer of only a small amount of people. There's the one gentleman who's obviously worked on it the most of the time, but then has had a few other people come in and do music and a little bit of graphics and stuff like that. So, but yeah, this game is very, very fun. It only came out a couple of weeks ago, and I'd highly recommend it if you like a good, um, like a good bit of challenge with a decent bit of mechanics. But the biggest draw of this, like the biggest unfortunate side of this game, is it's the single player is not the main draw of it. So playing it on your own is
It's the
not
multiplayer.
fantastic. The multiplayer is the one that absolutely is going to draw people in. It's got local multiplayer. I'm not sure if it has online multiplayer.
Okay.
It doesn't have online multiplayer on either version, so not on the Switch, not on Steam Deck. Although there is apparently a way where you can like stream or mirror on the
Yes,
Steam Deck
there
or on
is.
Steam.
I think there
You
is.
can
Yeah,
technically play multiplayer
yeah.
that way.
So I would like to play this like couch co-op basically and see what it's like, but I don't have that because I don't have someone in locally who wants to play it or owns it. And I don't believe it's cross-platform either, so won't be able to link up with Mike to play it unless I get the Switch version. But it's still not going to happen because no online.
Still not going
But
to
yeah,
happen. No,
but
I'm
anyway, yeah, very fun game. Would highly recommend it. It's been a really fun experience, and I will be playing more of it. But yeah, if I had to give this a score, I'd give this a 3.5 out of 5 so far. Needs a little bit of work, but overall very, very fun.
Cool.
Cool.
So Kylie, what have you been playing, and what has your week been?
Well, I'm gonna read chat. Well, I can still read. But Brent says I've been busy, but had time to enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh. I never say that right.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Master Duel, April Fools, event, and some AC Shadows, which I have yet to get to play, but I want to. And then it says I've had a good week. I went to New Games Plus, which Pete and I had considered going to, but then I don't know.
We just didn't think about it again.
I
I forgot all about it.
I did. And tried a bunch of games. I asked him in my chat, were there any new, like, preview games? But he's like, there's not really. And also played a lot of good stuff, which is the most important thing. And
Nice.
Debo Pop 12 says Nintendo Switch 2 is coming home. So that's a thing.
There was a lot of excitement there.
Well, it was written in all caps, so there has to be excitement.
And, oh no!
Oh,
Wait.
no.
order was cancelled. Oh.
Well, what was I gonna say?
Development, ladies and gentlemen. There has been a development.
As it happens in real time. But no, I played at Atomfall, which I keep thinking is a person's name. It is not. It is Atomfall, not Atomfall.
Hop on Atom.
Atom. But I absolutely adore Fallout and the Fallout franchise, and this is the Fallout franchise basically, but not in a bad way. It's like Fallout Light, which is actually good because Fallout 4 sucks. My modded version is great and wonderful, but the original sucks. But this Atomfall is a lot of fun. I'm actually gonna continue it tomorrow, just for one more day. I won't play the whole thing out. But
I knew this would be your kind of game.
Yeah, I did.
British humour and a great environment and Fallout, basically.
I mean, it's perfect. I don't. It's weird because I actually thought Avowed would be my kind of hook game, because the team behind it, it's Obsidian. They created new Fallout New Vegas, which is my absolute favorite Fallout ever. May possibly be working on Fallout New Vegas 2. They did Outer Worlds, which I also love. Not as much as New Vegas, but I mean, I enjoyed it. I was looking forward to Avowed. Avowed just did not grasp me at all. But Outfall did. So that's a weird thing for me. But then on Wednesday, we continued the Baby in Yellow. And that game has gone cuckoo lolly.
Of course it did, because
But in the
it's a
best
game
way.
called The Baby in Yellow.
Yes, which is apparently based on Lovecraftian horror. The King in Yellow or something like that.
Nice.
But I didn't know that going into it, because I know of Lovecraft and I know of like Cthulhu and like the basic stuff, the Stygian horrors and all that kind of stuff. that's about as much of my Lovecraftian knowledge is. And then, but this is like a whole exploration of it in the guise of a babysitting simulator, which is just brilliant. I'm sorry, but that's amazing. I love that. And then we've got probably one more week of that. I didn't think it would last this long. That's what she said. But then I just continued on with Doom because I love Doom and I love Doom and I love Doom. And then yesterday, for just me on my own, I'm still playing some Hitman Freelance because I'm really bad at it. I'm terrible at it. But I'm hoping that as I upgrade, then I will get better because of the upgrades.
Yeah.
And then I won't have to rely on talent, but on tools. And that makes everything better. And then Depop says, or Debo Pop, sorry, the specs, games, backward compatibility, third-party support, and then EEP. I'm afraid I don't know what EEP means, but I know that these guys do, and they're going to talk about it.
I'm not sure I do.
Oh, Nana said the same thing. But
We might get to that.
I think that was all I played. Yeah, that was it. So that's going to do it for that section. I'm going to toss this. Not with my cookies. I'm going to toss this along to Pete, who's going to take over, and they're going to talk about so much Nintendo. So much Nintendo will be talked about. And
I wore the right shirt for the occasion.
Did.
Hey!
This week I did.
That's not a PlayStation t-shirt.
No, because there was no PlayStation game shown. Oh!
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, maybe.
There was a few, actually, to be honest. There was a few.
I was going to say, I know, even I think there
I
was,
know.
But yes, no, Pete, go ahead. Okay, Debo Pop says it's the sound effect.
Oh, the 3D audio, yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, so Pete's gonna take us through the basics, the highlights, and then they're gonna discuss it, and I'm gonna drink.
So, for those who are possibly living under a rock, or if you're Kylie and don't watch stuff like this,
I was watching the goats.
No, that's fine. We are going to talk about the Switch 2 presentation. We sort of teased it last week by talking about our predictions. So, Mike, I'm going to come to you first and say we had a bit of a shocker, didn't we? We got a couple of things right, but we didn't get a lot right.
No. Which I think was actually for the best, because obviously I did overshoot the mark from, I said September for a release date, didn't I?
You did, that's right, yeah.
And obviously you were right on that one.
What is the
But then, like I said, I will reiterate,
we'll get to it.
I wanted it to be September, so I had the money to buy it.
I know, I'm aware, yeah.
I've reacquired funds, legitimately. Basically,
You sold a portion of your house.
I sold a portion of my soul. An arm, which you can no longer see, and a leg as well, from the knee down.
So what you're saying is you now have the phantom pain.
Ah!
Ooh, yeah.
It links back. Full circle.
Yeah.
Although I do like what Devo Pop said, which is I'm getting it at lunch. I'm gonna work my ass off. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway,
I'll be
so
working my butt off for the summer as well.
okay, so what I'm gonna do with this one is I'm gonna toss this over to Gawny Mike to start because, well, first of all, a bit of shameless self-promotion in the fact that I joined Mike, Gawny, Barry from Impact Game Station, and Rich from Nintendo Music
Players
UK to talk about this on Game and Chat Lite. So we did state that we had some opinions on there, so we weren't going to go into full details. But Mike, do you want to just give a little bit of a roundup of what you initially thought of the Direct itself?
Okay, so on the whole, we'll start with the positives, and obviously we'll go on to the negatives afterwards. Although, you know, everybody already knows what the negatives are.
Because they've listened to Game and Chat. Like...
Oh, yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah, no. Because they watched the Direct. So we got to see all the games that are coming to the Switch pretty much from launch.
I just want general impressions you thought of the Direct, and then we'll go into all the nitty-gritty, basically.
So on the whole, I thought it was very, very good. I'm very, very happy to be able to, play some games that I've missed out on. So the likes of, well, actually, we will go into them in a moment. obviously. So I thought it was very, very, very good. A lot of things that I thought was good, going to come to the system, which have just been basically restated. So obviously, 4K support and stuff like that. Finally, I mean, we're only in 2025, and how long's 4K been around for? The actual look of the console is pretty nice. The way that the Joy-Cons snap on, and everyone wondered what that button on the back was for, and well, now we know. It's so you can take them off.
Easy.
Mystery solved, didn't it?
I say that's how my buttons work.
And obviously, the biggest problem,
Excellent.
the biggest setback is actual price. But then again, a number of people have said, if you was to compare it up, like yourself, Pete, to compare it to like the Steam Deck and whatnot, or a PS5, it's not that, not that bad in comparison.
Yeah. Gawny, some quick impressions before we go into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, I think much what Mike said, really. The console design is pretty sleek and nice and smooth. I think the whole clicking in is a bit odd to me still, but I think they wanted to get rid of the sliding metal things on the side because that was causing lots of problems with damaged consoles, so it makes perfect sense why they're doing it. Magnets seem to be quite extensive. Exactly, there you go. Pete's got his on the screen there, and it's
You can say Nintendo's gone off the rails.
yeah, literally off the rails. Hey.
Magnets.
Speaking of which, we will talk more about that in a moment.
Yeah, I think initially I'm quite happy with it overall. I think after the direct and after we've had a few chats of it, I think there's been a few problems here and there, which especially costs wise, but I think we're all sort of the same opinion that the actual console I think is not too bad of a price in general. It's for $450 or $425 for the whatever you want to pay for it kind of thing isn't too bad for a console, but it's the cost of game price I think we're all going to sort of struggle with in the future. But
Okay.
and the other one I want to mention on that quickly is all the controllers and other parts and things like the camera. They are very expensive as well. I think the controller's going for 75 quid. So yeah,
we will get to all of that because that just basically leads me on into the way that we are going to cover this. So Kylie is basically going to act like our layperson and listen to all of this firsthand, well, from us and say, and then react to it. So the way we'll cover it is we'll start off with the hardware. We will then talk about software. We will talk about price and release date, and then post-direct controversies and pricing, and any other additional information that's come out as such. So let's start with the hardware. So I'm going to run through basically how they revealed it on the Direct. It wasn't the first thing that they showed off because we'll discuss that in a bit. But they did go into a big spiel. It was probably about 5-ish minutes, wasn't it? About talking about all the new features from the Nintendo Switch 2. So it is just called the Nintendo Switch 2. So I wrote this down as I was basically as it was happening. So if it's very offhand, just ignore that. So it's a 7.9-inch HD display, which runs at 1080p in handheld, at 120 frames per second with an LCD screen. It also has HDR. However, one of the big draws of this is the dock itself has a built-in fan for more cooling whilst it's in docked mode, which then enables as well 4K performance. So, so there is scalable options for 1080, 1440p, and 4K in docked mode. It has the capability of doing 120 frames per second, with certain games also having, like with the PS5 and Xbox Series X games, quality and performance modes. We'll get into that when we talk about a certain Metroid Prime. So the Joy-Cons have got bigger buttons on the sides when you detach them. So the SL and SR buttons are a lot more defined. They're a lot larger, and the Joy-Cons stick out. The guys have already spoken about magnetic Joy-Cons, so they're now off the rails. There are mouse controls, so if you put the Joy-Cons on the side, both of them can be used as mice. There are improved speakers with 3D audio. a built-in microphone with noise cancellation technology, a new kickstand which has a lower position, which is a lot lower than what it was on the Switch OLED, 2 USB-C ports, so one at the bottom and one at the top, 256 gigabytes of internal storage, with the ability to upgrade that through micro SD, but the SD cards are now SD Express rather than standard SD, and
faster loading times.
for faster loading times. There is mostly backwards compatibility with nearly all Nintendo Switch games, but there is a caveat to that we'll come to when it comes to the games itself. So
Yes.
the one other feature that they showed, and they showed this before they were talking about all the other stuff with the actual hardware itself, was what this new C button does on the console. It is a feature called Game Chat. So built in on the console
that
level.
almost sounds like our podcast.
Yeah.
They copied
It's
you.
almost like they knew.
Nintendo's been copying my homework.
Yes. Yeah, just copy the homework, but just change a small bit. Yeah. So Game Chat is a feature that allows you to talk in parties of your friends, up to 12 people, in a voice chat that is similar to a Discord call. However, with the enabled USB-C external camera, you can have 4 people video chatting. And this is also a feature that you can also use in certain games like Mario Party Jamboree, where you can have your face projected onto the game itself. The other thing that you can also do is you can share footage of your game whilst you're in the call, and not everyone in the call can play the same game, so you can all share footage of things that you are playing at the same time.
It's a good feature.
So yeah,
It's almost
For
like
once-
just having a general conversation whilst playing a game.
Yes.
It has to be the same one.
yeah, no need for that pathetic Nintendo Switch app anymore.
Oof. Oof.
Even though they are rebranding it. Sorry,
They are
did
rebranding
any of you two actually use that for voice
No.
chat? Because I know I did.
I think I've
was
used it once,
terrible.
maybe.
I
Once.
used it for a couple of times, and then it's like, no, I'll just use Discord.
It was terrible.
Because
It was
most of the
really-
time I play with other people, I end up recording stuff with it. I can't really use that app as such for with it. So
Yeah. I remember joining in a chat on Mario Kart with one of my friends, and because you're obviously in a public lobby, other people could join it as well.
Oh yeah.
And that was not ideal when you're having a private conversation.
not cool.
Anyway, so the only other thing that we will talk about in terms of, I wouldn't say OS, but in terms of general hardware, somewhat features, is the game cartridges. So game cartridges are now red. So they're differentiating away from them. The cards themselves are supposed to have a faster read speed and also have more memory on them. So they're probably going from the 32 to the 64 gigabyte cards. But there was a little bit of a controversy with this after the fact, with the fact that
Yes.
games might not be stored technically on the cards. They are apparently nothing more than game licenses.
Yep.
So there is a residual DRM function within the cartridges, which will then come on to something we will talk about when it comes to the pricing of games later.
There's a couple of
and-
exceptions on that game cartridge one. I think there's some of the bigger games actually are on there.
Cyberpunk
Yeah.
2077 is one of the games that is fully on the cartridge. But we'll get into that. So, with all of that said, Kylie, I'm going to come to you quickly. After hearing all of that, as the person who's not seen this, what do you reckon from hearing it all? Is this interesting to you?
I think for me, the things that
No.
I'm always movie, games, and price are gonna be what interests me. That's
Mhm.
my hooks.
Okay, well, we'll get to those in a bit.
So the Technally, wow. Hello.
The Technally.
Oh.
Technally.
Hello, wine.
Wow.
If I
There
wasn't
we
calling
are.
If I wasn't calling
Kicked
this a
in quicker
generic
than I thought.
title, I would call this episode the Technally.
Yes.
Really.
The tech specs aren't quite enough for me, but that is because I'm a PC master.
Nice.
But
I-
considering
But-
that what the tech specs are there, it basically
mean-
rivals that of a PS5 to some
I'm
degree,
gonna say, let me
and an
actually
Xbox
say,
Series S, let's say, or maybe
One-
an X at this point.
Well, one thing that I've made very, very clear on here since for 5 years that we've done this is that I never understood why they released the Switch already behind. The chipset was already behind. I've never
Mhm.
understood that.
Common thing with Nintendo, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, and
We mentioned this before that they haven't chased after technology.
no,
we
they
said
don't.
this on
And
Game
they
and
don't
Chat.
have to. Yeah, and they don't have to. They don't
No.
have to. They've got the presence of they're a brand that is almost too big to fail. They don't have to chase the best specs or anything. They already have their built-in fan base, even if that fan base is sometimes a whiny bunch of brats. But-
Whoa! Whoa!
Hello.
See,
Present company excluded.
yes, exactly. You guys are.
no, you'll
You're
find
not
out that
them.
I'm willing to criticize Nintendo a lot.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just remember, like, so when I used to be on what is now known as X, Twitter or whatever, every time Nintendo would either come out with a direct or say they're going to have a direct or right after a direct, no one was like, you could not make some of these people happy, and like Nintendo would just like gift these wonderful, just drop these games or these new adventures or these just new experiences, and there'd still be this crowd of going, well, they didn't do, whatever. They didn't release Splatoon 4. They didn't release Pokemon, Mount Everest or whatever. And, so yeah, whatever.
Kilimanjaro.
Kilimanjaro. Just a bunch of like,
Kato,
dead-
why not?
a bunch of dead Pokemon going up the mountain. But so that always kind of stood out in my mind, and I didn't understand why they started with specs so far behind. But so to hear this, even though it's not ahead, technologically speaking, I said it. Technologically speaking,
I'd say it's on par. I'd say it's on par, not ahead.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's not ahead, but it's still, for a Nintendo product, it is worlds ahead.
Yeah.
So I think I'm already feeling positive about this, but I won't be hooked until I know what the games and the price are.
We'll get to those.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
obviously we
That's a fair opinion, though, to be fair.
absolutely. So obviously, with all that said, for those who may not have listened to Game and Chat or any of or Gawny's video or anything that we've been on, we'll go over that. So
Where have you been?
I'll go to Gawny first on this one. What's
Yeah.
your general opinions of the actual hardware itself? Was you surprised that they've decided to go after power?
A little bit surprised, if I'm honest. I wasn't expecting the 4K. 100% was not expecting that at all. I thought that was going to be the next generation, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I'm happy for it. It's going to be good for people who have 4K TVs already, definitely. And I don't, so unfortunately, that's another cost for me. The other problem I've got with that is also capture card. I'm going to need a new capture card which records in 4K as well. So that's another expense, unfortunately, on my side. But I'm glad it's there. I'm glad the feature's there, and lots more people can experience it in much better experience in terms of actual gameplay and stuff as well. So like the frame rate was the biggest one for me, I think, in everything here. The 120 frames is a huge jump for Nintendo. I was not expecting that anywhere,
Honestly,
kind of thing.
No, that was music to my ears. I was like, as soon as you start mentioning 120 FPS, I'm like, I'm good. I'm very
Definitely,
good. I'm
definitely, yeah.
happy.
That's
So-
true. He loves
what-
all that.
Well, PC Master Race
And
cards,
yet,
you know.
Pokemon still probably struggle at like 28 frames
Yeah.
per second.
There'll still be a dodgy
No,
tree in the background, you know.
Mike, no. I'm going to stop you there. Give them credit where it's due. They'll finally get to 30.
Finally get there.
I'm still
They
happy.
maintain it.
I'm still happy playing GoldenEye in 14 frames a second. I don't really care, you know. So,
Best way to put it.
yeah.
Best way to put
It's the only way to play it. It just didn't feel right on the Xbox with all those 60s.
Yeah, that's true. Though the games I have seen, they've shown off the Treehouse stuff. We'll talk about later on, but the ones I have seen so far at the higher frame rate just makes them look like a completely different game, and I can't wait to try them out, kind of thing. I think the one I'm really looking forward to seeing, if there's no mention of an upgrade on it yet, but Splatoon 2 and 3. If I get frame rate increases in that, I'm going to be playing that a hell of a lot more than I was before, definitely.
Yeah, I probably would be as well, because 60's nice on that game, but if I can get 120, then that's golden.
Yeah, it just changed, again, the complete game change, especially playing online with other people at that frame rate. In any shooter game, you want as high frames as possible, and that's included, kind of thing.
Yeah. Mike?
I mean, I've been hoping that they would eventually have 4K. It's like, come on now, surely we're going to have 4K. Because, if they kept on going at the pace that they were going at, we'd have 16K TVs by the time they got round to it. So I'm glad that, they finally pulled their finger out, as we say.
Yeah.
Got it done. The jump to 120 frames per second was outstanding for me. It's like, oh, okay then, wow, that's a big jump. I mean, I know they've had a lot of games that run at 60 frames per second, but I think even like the likes of Breath of the Wild and that struggled sometimes.
Yeah, so 30 mostly, I think it was for Breath of the Wild. Mario Odyssey was mostly 60, but there were a couple of kingdoms where it really started to dip and lag, like New Donk City.
Yeah, like places on Breath of the Wild I can think of at the moment is like the tree section, Kakiri Forest area. That literally just drops completely as soon as you enter that area. So interesting to see what it changes with the Switch 2 in that area, kind of thing.
Well, they showed that on one of the videos for the Nintendo Treehouse, didn't they?
Nice.
Honestly, it may warrant another playthrough of Breath of the Wild for me because of it. Just to try it out and maybe even pick up Tears of the Kingdom again.
I don't think I'll start it all over again.
Oh no, I might go for a full playthrough again.
With the Notes app as well. I don't know if you guys have seen much about that, and that looks
awesome.
Oh, that looks so good. And they've added loads of things.
Uninstalling the Nintendo Switch app yet.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because
totally
it has the Zelda Notes thing to it. Even though I've got like the physical guide sitting over there somewhere. It's like, yeah, I've got that. I'll open it eventually.
The one you made, so like all your stuff on it, So.
Yeah, he's got the post-it notes all over it. The one other thing that I forgot to add in the hardware section is there is a new Pro Controller coming. There are a couple of additional buttons included to it, including 2 back buttons on the back grip. And there's a capture button on it and a built-in microphone, as well as an audio jack.
My initial worry with this is the new Switch 2 games will probably be needing that Pro Controller to work, kind of thing. If it's anything like any past generation consoles and things, because the old controller doesn't have the C button, for example, I think is the reason why it's not going to work completely with new games as such. But we'll see. I don't know. There's nothing been announced about that yet, and connections with using the old Pro Controller and stuff. So maybe
so they have confirmed that all old peripherals, so long as that can be used, but the old Joy-Cons, the NES, SNES, and the N64 controllers will not be able to be charged via the Switch unit itself.
Oh,
because obviously the rail, you won't be able to connect them on using the magnetic. So you will need an external way to charge them, like a charging dock or something like that, or the charging grip that you get.
Okay, that's still good to know though. That's good information.
Nintendo Switch that you still have.
Yes.
Because if you've got those controllers, you're probably still going to have a Switch anyway, so you can
probably
charge them on.
It's a bit of a worry for people who want to trade in, though, isn't it? Kind of thing, I suppose. It's like, well, I don't want to trade in with my controllers, so I want to just,
I mean, like Peter said, I mean, there are like charging options as well, like charging docks and stuff like that. Which, funnily enough, now Nintendo did mention it earlier. Was it earlier this year or last year? And it's like, oh yeah, here you go. Here's a charging dock thing for it now. And it's like, okay,
there was
like 7 years too late.
But they also did it with
from like a third.
There are third party ones. Yeah.
Remember the Joy-Con grip that you got with the with the original Switch, where they changed that even last year or this year,
Hmm.
and included a USB-C port on it. So it's like, oh yeah, thanks. That's a bit 6 years, a bit too late.
Yeah, really, just
Yeah.
should have had
So,
that from the start.
Anyway, so because I haven't stated it on here, I stated it elsewhere. I was quite happy with the specs that was included within this. I was not surprised about some of it because if you've kept your ear to the ground and saw all the job listings from a couple of years ago where they were actually recruiting for someone who knows DLSS, it was quite obvious that they were going to be working with some sort of AI upscaling or, a certain degree of technology, but they went a bit further than I thought they were going to with this. My main concern, though, is whether or not the games are going to run natively at 120 frames or whether it's going to be native 60 and then upscaled using AI. Because
Yeah.
if they're done that way, then it'll be a little bit of a disappointment. But I hope that there is a native option to do so.
Again, there's not been much announced on that side yet, is there? In terms of, so
the only
I
but the only
that
thing
also depends on compatible TVs as well, isn't it? I suppose.
it does, yeah. But the only my issue is whether or not the 4K versions are going to come on the cartridges. I'm putting it in air quotes for reasons. Because those file sizes can get large, and we all know that.
Yeah.
We all know the file sizes were somewhat reasonable when it came to the Switch, and they did quite well with compression. But
Yeah.
how is it going to work with these new?
They've said so far on some of the games. I think there's the new Donkey Kong game, for example. I think there's only about 7-8 gigabyte. I think they were saying in terms of file size. So it's going to vary, of course. I think we had problems with third-party devs. Of one I remember is WWE. One of their games was like the whole cartridge and more kind of thing in terms of memory. So
it was the same thing when we mentioned this on Game Chat was with the Arkham trilogy, where the first game was on there, but only then the second two weren't. Same with like BioShock Collection, Borderlands, and stuff like that, where not all the games were included. So it might be. If they are on the cartridge, all of the games might be included if they're using the 64 gig ones.
Possibly, but we'll have to see.
Who knows? Yeah. Right. We've talked hardware enough. That usually bores the crap out of most people.
Can I just put one thing on the mouse though? The mouse mode.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about mouse.
I think that is brilliant. If I'm honest.
Yeah.
Because that's something that the Steam Deck doesn't do for one kind of thing. As a comparison.
I mean. It does have the trackpads on them, but they're not that great.
Not that great on but an actual mouse you can use on any like hard surface or on your sofa or anything to let you play PC games on your computer quite easily is on the Switch, for example.
It is great, but the only problem I have with it is how many people are going to be playing this at a desk or on a surface where they can have a flat surface.
That's
how
the
many
problem.
People are going to be playing this on a train where they're not going to exactly want to run that over their leg or on a table that's been used by thousands of other people.
That's a fair argument, to be fair. But it's one of those. I think people will get around it eventually. Once if they want to play those games in that mode, they'll find a way to do it, kind of thing, pretty quickly. I think.
And we'll talk about the mouse mode on a certain Metro Prime when we discuss it.
But I do like it, and there'll be a lot of games I'll be interested in trying out on using that mode. For example, like City Skylines, for example, and things like that.
Of course, yeah. So let's talk about games because someone had done the calculation on this, and there was, to be exact, 54 games either announced, shown, or talked about on this Direct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through all of them, and then we're going to pick a few that we're going to talk about in major ways. The first party games we'll discuss probably at length. So I think we'll leave those until last because there was only technically 4 or 5 that were first party. We'll talk about one a little bit more because that's caused a bit of a storm. We'll get into that. So we'll leave the Nintendo first party stuff to the side. So in terms of the games, brilliant. God's sakes.
You're not supposed to be looking at that.
It's on the side of my screen. Of course I can see it. Anyway, so initially they talked about some of the updated versions that you'll get from Switch to Switch 2. So some of these are going to be upgraded versions, including Mario Party Jamboree, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom, for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Pokemon Legends ZA. So they are going to have Nintendo Switch 2 versions. They will be compatible with the Nintendo Switch versions, but they will have an upgrade to them where some features will be added, but it will be at a cost. They have confirmed, I
Now,
believe, that the
I'm going to
cost
just
is...
stop you for a moment. I have
Mm.
heard that the cartridges in these, so like the Legend of Zelda, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and Super Mario, and all these kind of games that have got these updated versions, it is apparently going to be the Switch game. So it will be the original cart. But there'll be a download code or something that you can then update for.
Ah.
Yeah, this is what a lot of people have been hearing, because I think Wario 64 had confirmed that on Twitter.
Okay.
So it's sounding a lot like basically what they're going to do is repackage the Switch 1 games. Basically, take the bit of paper out that has, the artwork and stuff on it, and then sit the Switch 2 in there and a download code.
Yeah, but what I mean is that you can use your original Switch cartridge of the game and then do the upgrade path to it. So they're talking about it potentially being $20 for the upgrade, or roughly about £10 over here, I believe.
That's a lot.
So it depends. They haven't fully confirmed what the price is going to be. I suspect that this could be game by game. They might charge more depending on the game.
I've seen between 7 and 20 as well, so it's a lot.
So, yeah, but they have confirmed that Zelda Breath of the Wild and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom are going to be available on Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion. I'd say for free. It's not for free. It's a subscription service,
Yeah,
but it will be
it.
included within your subscription. So, so we'll talk about some other games that were there, including... Well, no, that's on the first party. We can't talk about that one. So a lot of the third-party games that are coming, and I'll go down the list. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, Hades 2, Street Fighter 6, Daemon X Machina, the sequel. I can't remember what the subtitle was. Split Fiction. I predicted it. Madden and EAFC, Hogwarts Legacy Switch 2 Edition, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition, James Bond's IO interactive game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gawny, sorry, I have to call you out on this one. This game was actually announced a few years ago. It wasn't new. Sorry, I saw it in your video. Yeah, it was announced a few years ago, but this is...
First I've heard of it, so yeah.
It was the exact same video they showed. No, they even showed this video when they announced it.
What? I didn't even know that.
Right.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago, but it was basically just reconfirming that the game was still in active development, because nobody's heard anything about it for years.
When was the last James Bond game? Just out of curiosity. Does anyone remember?
A long time ago.
Can't think of what it was.
I want to say it was 007 Legends, but even then...
Yeah.
I know Quantum of Solace was...
Quantum of Solace could have been one, actually.
Yeah, possibly.
Quantum of Solace was on the Wii.
The GoldenEye...
007 Legends.
They did another GoldenEye, it was on the Wii as well, didn't they? Wasn't that with Daniel Craig had it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Anywho, Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. I'm going to skip this one because technically it's first and third party to some degree. No, it's first party. Deltarune Chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yes!
Deltarune 3 and 4 are new.
Yeah,
and this is coming out on launch day, so the complete game will be here. Finally.
So, just quickly on that, the first two chapters were free. I think the third and fourth are going to be paid for, but I don't know the ins and outs of them, how much it is yet.
No, they haven't confirmed that, but the fact that they're brand new and coming to Switch 2, fantastic. I'm glad that they're finally completing the game.
And Undertale's coming as well. I think that might be a package deal with all of them, maybe. But
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Right, Borderlands 4. Why did we have to see Randy Pitchford? Ugh.
Oh gosh.
Civ 7 with mouse controls.
Yeah.
WWE 2K and NBA 2K. Enter the Gungeon 2.
Looked
Survival
interesting.
Kids. Star Seeker. Mike, I want to talk about Star Seeker for a moment. They didn't confirm this as a
Okay.
Nintendo game, did they? But did you
As
get
far
the
as I know, I
suspicion that
saw
this looked
very,
like that
very
tech
little.
demo that we played?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
You
I mean, I
know.
must
You
admit,
remember
when I
that? You remember
Maybe.
that?
I kind of breezed past a little these games because I was watching it at double speed as well.
Okay, fine.
That's
So it
fine.
was
Yeah,
only
this
on for
very,
a few seconds.
yeah, this very much looked like that playtest we played.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Star Seeker, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, Kunitsu Path of the Goddess, Hollow Knight Silk Song, 2 Point Museum.
Silk Song? You can't just skip past that. You just said the magic words that people have been
Will
wanting
it
to
ever
hear.
come
It
out?
showed
Will
like
it ever
years.
come out?
It showed like 2 frames of the game.
Of course.
That's not
Probably
on launch
more than
day,
two.
is it? It's not on launch day.
No,
Oh, it
it's
can't be.
2025, they
No.
said.
That's never coming out. I'm
Yeah.
just. It's
There was
never
a-
coming out.
Played
Look,
it.
there was-
I played a demo of it a few
Okay.
years ago, and I
Oh,
quite enjoyed
wow.
it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Okay.
people have been waiting and waiting and waiting. It's like,
Sure.
when's this game coming out?
Hollow Knight Silk
no,
Song is
sure,
coming
no,
in
yeah,
2025, and it finally quashes the one thing that people were saying: is this a real game? Yes, it is. It is actually going to come out.
Hollow Knight is
And
great,
Nintendo
so I hope
showed
so.
it technically first.
Oh,
Yeah, well, because it was on an Xbox Game Pass.
I'm sure it's been on
Direct
a.
at one
It's
point.
been on a
It will.
Nintendo Switch one before. I think
It has as well.
Possibly,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
So.
anyway, yeah, 2 Point Museum, Star Wars Outlaws, and then they closed out. Well, in terms of the third-party games, with one really big announcement, let's say, because a certain Japanese company that are very well reviled over the years
Yep.
is getting a Switch 2 exclusive property coming to it. Coming in 2026, it's called The Duskblood from Software.
From soft. Oh.
From software, yeah.
So
Exclusive.
this is
exclusive.
an exclusive, and it is a multiplayer driven focus game.
Wow.
Yeah, they didn't. They had a big trailer for it. There was quite a bit of gameplay shown as well. So big plus from my side because
Mhm.
gameplay. This would be your kind of thing, Kylie. Very gothic.
Ooh.
Yeah, very much. I suspected this could have been Bloodborne to start, but
It looked like
no,
it at
it was
first,
not.
yeah.
It's got very strong Bloodborne vibes to it, but it's not Bloodborne.
Similar universe by the looks of it, maybe.
Yes, but yeah, the fact that it's a Switch exclusive and they're essentially, branching out and going, right, each console is going to get something that is somewhat exclusive, like Bloodborne was to the PlayStation. This is that for the Switch 2. Big get, I would say, for Nintendo to get them on board.
100%. Yeah,
And-
huge
and
game.
then
it
all-
was.
And also to start out and then close with From Software, with Tarnished Edition also coming,
I
which also includes Shadow of the Erd Tree as well.
There was one I wanted to ask you about actually with this film because it's Street Fighter.
Yes.
What did you think about the Street Fighter reveal?
The UI to it doesn't look very nice, I don't think. 'Cause
Okay.
I think the UI is generally quite nice when it comes to the HUD and all of that. To have Street Fighter back on the Switch in a major way with probably the newest entry,
Yeah,
great idea. It's the fact that it's the year one and 2 collection, so it's got all of the DLC characters from Fighter Pass 1 and 2. And they've also got 3 amiibos coming for it. I'm quite happy with that because I might get a Kimberly amiibo. But yeah, I was quite happy to see it. But Jack did actually message me about this and asked how I felt about it, and I said, well, if I can't use my stick, I'm not going to play it because I might as well just play it on PC. But
surely you
I'm
can.
glad
though.
that it's.
What?
I might not be able to because
But it's got
just
gyro controls as well. It's got a gyro mode. What?
Just what you want in your fighting games, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's weird.
Pete's face right now for everyone who's on the audio. Oh my god.
Sorry. Hang on a second. Does everyone remember that Tom Hardy meme? That's bait.
That's bait. That's great.
Yeah, I'm not
A
reacting.
new
Not
game
reacting.
mode only on Nintendo Switch 2.
They always do something like that anyway,
Are you
Capcom. So
are you going to pick it up?
I'm tempted, but maybe not. I'm not
Okay.
sure. Street Fighter is one of those things that I really enjoy playing with other people. So if I can get other people to play it, and if it includes cross-platform on the Switch as well, fantastic.
I am hoping it does have cross-platform because I
Yeah.
may actually pick it up, and then if I do pick it up, I would need somebody to play it with.
Yeah,
So
but
hopefully
like
it does
I
have
so-
cross-platform, and if not, you're gonna have to get the copy too.
well,
Oh.
I like to play with this thing.
Oh. Okay.
Not going to work particularly
Does it have
well
a
when it comes.
USB-C?
For audio
No,
users, it's
Yeah, arcade stick.
arcade stick. That.
Yeah,
Pete's
so
phoning
I
up.
yeah, it's got it's USB-C technically, but USB.
Ah.
Right.
So USB on the other side, so I can't.
You might be able to get connection to work for that, maybe for USB-C, but it's going to be a long shot if it works.
If I can get a converter, I will. I might
A to
try it.
C, that might be difficult, to be honest.
Yeah,
A
it
to
might
C.
be difficult.
Yeah.
Nana has mentioned in the chat. Pete's not mentioning the fact that he has to buy a certain game again. What?
What game?
Huh?
Final Fantasy?
I'm buying Final Fantasy. 100%
Hell
buying
no.
Final Fantasy. Look,
Hell
look,
no.
look, it's right there on my
Oh,
wall. I have to
I'm
buy it. I
I'm
have to
aware,
buy
I'm
it.
not- Sorry, I am not buying it again. I'm not putting myself through that torture again.
I can play Final Fantasy 7 at work on my Switch already. I want to
No.
play the new one on the Switch at work
No,
as well.
Sorry, Nana has mentioned that
yeah.
it's not Final Fantasy. It was Yakuza 0.
Oh,
Thanks.
Yakuza 0. Okay.
Okay,
there you go.
I might have to because it's the director's cut.
Oh.
So that'll
It
be
did
the.
look good.
Hang on, that'll be the third copy I would buy. Because I've got the PS4 version, the Steam version, and I have to buy
See,
the Switch.
I've never
version.
played a Yakuza game, so
Good starting point because technically, chronologically, it's the first game in the series.
right. Okay, so maybe I'll try this one then. Okay, good.
Go
Nice.
for it.
0.
Yeah. Well, it's not the first game that technically come out, but it's one of the later ones. But it's in terms of story, it's the first.
Okay.
Yeah, I might buy it again. Oh god, I'm a sucker.
Honestly,
Sega got me in a vice grip.
my bank account is crying
The,
every time it
Friday
sees me
from
here.
Futurama. Shut up and take my money.
The bank manager's going to be pleased, isn't he?
Yep. Oh, my bank manager is going to be furious, at me, especially when it comes to remortgage time.
Oh no.
Yeah, so the launch lineup of games, well, a lot of them are day one launches. Some of them are obviously confirming that the series are coming to the Switch with either enhancements or changes from their regular versions. So it shows to me that Nintendo have got a lot of the third parties on board,
Yeah.
which is something they really struggled with when it came to the Wii U.
Yeah, it's good for that reason. Definitely, there's a lot of good third parties out. Listen, you said from Software's a huge hit for them. And, there's something for everyone on launch day, and I think that's the main
Yeah.
reason they've done this so spread out with different areas. But
Mhm.
I think Deltarune is exclusive first for Nintendo, and then the PC the next day, I believe. But
I think you might be right, so I'm tempted to. I mean, I've got Deltarune 1 and 2 already on the Switch, so I'm quite tempted to just include it within the Switch too, and just buy it
Definitely.
on there.
But things like that do get people playing those games. They're going to be cheaper than the other games we can buy, and that's the main thing for me. Is that's good. More people can play that game on launch day.
Yeah, and the thing is, with things like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, I would probably play the PC version, but I know that Activision have had a real problem when it comes to PC version, so I might end up getting this on Switch too. So, also, if I can play it online with people like Gawny and Mike, fantastic.
Might be up for that. Yeah. If I get Darth Maul again in 3, I'll be happy. But I don't think it's
Let's
going to
hope
happen.
so, but I don't know if we will. But Mike, there is now no excuse for you not to play Split Fiction either.
That is true. Maybe I'll have to send an email to them and say, "Hey, would you like to send me a copy of the game and I'll play it for Switch too?"
There you go.
I think you should. It's out on day of launch, so I mean I might be happy to jump in and play it with you, or unless you wanted to play it with Jack or Gawny, and I watch it. I don't care. Either way, I get to enjoy it again. So,
There you go.
Yeah. Well, after your recommendation for the game, and you did talk about it at length last week as well, and it does sound like a very, very interesting game.
very fun. Kylie, we need to jump back on it at some point soon because we need to finish the game.
There's weirdly, there's not been many co-op games been announced for the Switch 2 so far. They seem heavy on single player and one or two multiplayer like Mario Kart, but otherwise, it's a bit strange because normally the Switch is great for local co-op games, so it's weird there's not been many announced so far.
Yeah, I am a little bit surprised by that as well, so there'll probably be more coming, but I think they probably want to focus solely on these big hitters that they're going to get. You know, they're established games on established platforms. You know, Civ 7, whilst it hasn't necessarily launched well, is an IP that gets a lot of people interested, especially when it comes to this mouse function that they're going to have.
If they re-release Civ 5, I'd probably do that kind of thing. I love Civ 5, but I can't play 6 or 7 at all, honestly.
Yeah, I think the big...
Maybe they didn't want enough competition. They didn't want the competition for Mario Kart World, so that's why there wasn't many co-op games, perhaps.
Maybe.
No, we really want to sell this. We're going to force people to, only play Mario Kart World.
Sure. Anyway, so let's move on to first-party games. I'm not going to touch on the big ones to start with because there was one that was dropped in within most of the trailers for the third parties because it's developed in collaboration with Nintendo, but it's a third-party developer in Koei Tecmo because the Hyrule Warriors series is coming back with Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which is the story with Hyrule Warriors, which is set between before Tears of the Kingdom. So, yeah, and I see Mike's probably trying to reach for his copy of Hyrule Warriors.
I can't remember what it was called. I've got the one on the Switch. I got that one. Oh wow!
So you've got the copy that ran at 10 frames, 20 frames, and 30 frames.
Yeah.
The Switch one's very good. That one. I'll be fair. I played a lot of time on that.
Yeah, and then we got Age of Calamity.
Age of Calamity. That's the one. Yeah, I was trying to think
which was the one that ran at 25 frames per second.
It wasn't great, was it? To be honest.
No, the frame rates were appalling.
However,
this one does actually look good.
The problem is the hardware, so hopefully, now with the Switch 2, that can run at 120.
I was going to say, yeah.
If Koei Tecmo can kick out at least 60, then, they're laughing.
If they have an upgraded version, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Honestly, it did look good. It looked like it was a lot more stable. It didn't look like it was going to drop down in any sort of performance issues, but
it definitely needs
a very heavily curated moment for a Switch Direct.
The amount of characters on screen at once and all that in those games, it's always been that way.
It does look like they increased the amount of characters on screen as well, it could chug quite heavily. So, but it's one coming winter of 2025.
I think Hyrule Warriors is my most played game other than Fortnite. I think I went under that heavy, but Hyrule Warriors I've played a lot of time into and just still not finished it now.
I mean, the original game is absolutely expensive.
Huge.
It's got all the different maps, and then on the Switch version, where they got the 3DS ones as well.
Yeah, it's everything all in one.
Hundreds of hours and still never finish it.
There's something like 10 different maps, and every map's got 50 different things to do and unlock, and then there's extra modes for unlocking each. Like you have to do each level 2-3 times to unlock everything sometimes, and it's like, I don't have this much time in my life, 100% in that game. Fair play to anyone who does it, honestly. Yeah, definitely.
Right. So the next game I'm going to talk about was one that technically only had a CG trailer. And this was a game that was, I'd say, teased to some degree. It was teased by a certain someone when they finished a certain series that they were doing, but we'll get into that. The return of the Kirby Air Ride series with a new entry, in the first one in 20 years, Kirby Air Riders.
I was really disappointed.
CG trailer.
I thought this was going to be Smash Bros. So,
Yes, so Gawny's giving the game away because Masahiro Sakurai is back in the directing chair for a Kirby game.
yeah.
Going back to his original roots. So,
Yeah.
cool. We now know what Sakurai's working on since he finished YouTube.
I've never played this game ever, so maybe it'll
Nope.
be good if I try it on this new
Well,
console. I don't know.
Kirby Air Ride was on the GameCube. That might be a hint for later. Hasn't been revealed, but it might be coming into a certain system. We might talk about that in a bit.
Spoilers.
Maybe.
Yes. So, because not a lot was really shown about this other than the CG trailer, it's coming out this year, but there's going to be more shown of it. But hey, can't complain at a new Kirby game to some degree. There were two other games that were there were other games that were shown, but there were two games that I want to talk about before we talk about the two big ones. That's what she said.
Hey.
So the first one was Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Oh boy,
Yeah. That was a thing.
that was definitely a thing. So Kylie, if I was to explain this to you, this would probably sound like a good idea until
Okay.
one small thing comes up. So you know how I've spoken about Astro's Playroom
Yes.
before? How it's an excellent pack-in title for the console that shows off every single one of the features in extensive detail, but also has really fun gameplay with it.
Yes.
Well, this is everything that it's not. So, Switch 2 Welcome Tour, I wrote, said, similar to Astro's Playroom, showing off the console. So it shows off
There's
all,
one
all the new features.
on the Steam Deck. There's a similar one as well, isn't there?
Still haven't checked that.
Yeah, Aperture something like that. Anyway, but yeah, it's very good for showing off the. Yeah.
Okay, I probably should download that. I have seen it advertised, but I've not.
It's good for showing off the Steam Deck if you've never played it before, and it tells you every little button and everything it does basically. So and it's free.
Yeah, there's a lot of hidden features on the Steam Deck. I probably should check that out. So it will show you everything new about the console, including the new screen, the 3D audio, the HD Rumble 2, and everything as such. They'll have some little mini games in there, quizzes, and everything as such. They showed this on the Treehouse. It didn't look interesting to me. The biggest drawback of this is it is not a pack-in game, and it is a paid download.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh
They did reveal the cost of it.
Here's
I have
a
now
tech
found-
demo, and we'll make you pay for it.
I have actually found out what the cost of this is now.
How much? I gotta know.
£5.
No.
This is bound to flop. No one's going to download this for the money.
Yeah. Everyone I've spoke to on this has said exactly the same. Like, why are we paying for this? Why is anyone paying for this? Yeah. Overall, I actually quite liked the way it was laid out and the way it explains some things. It was quite detailed on some parts inside the machine, which is quite nice as a technical side. I'm not paying £7 for it. So.
No, I'm not paying for that at all. Like I said, if this was like Astro's Playroom and was packed in with the console, 100% I'd give this a try day one just to check out all the cool new features.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I am not paying for this crap.
Yeah, it's just not worth the effort.
The official read-up for it on the press release. So while it's understandable that players will want to hit the ground running or racing with Nintendo Switch 2, they can also explore a variety of features and details the new console has to offer. Players can enter a virtual exhibition with Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour and gain insights into what makes Nintendo Switch 2 such a unique gaming experience. Through tech demos, mini-games and other interactions, players will get to know the new console inside and out in ways they may never have known about otherwise. Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour will be available to buy from Nintendo eShop from Nintendo Switch 2 launch date June 5th. And you think if anyone was going to buy that, it's like almost next to no, then the only way that people would probably pick it up is if Nintendo have like a 90% sale on the thing, and then even then, people are probably well accustomed to playing the Nintendo Switch 2 anyway, so it would be like, well, what's the point?
Yeah. As an outside observer, this is a bad idea.
Yeah, and I know something about bad ideas,
Yeah.
such as buying another copy of Yakuza 0. Anyway,
It's not a bad idea. It's a potential investment.
Uh-huh.
is it? Gawny, you're still here.
No,
I
it's a
thought the
bad
police
idea.
were about to raid you.
Yeah, someone's playing Knock Door Run on my door, I believe. So
Amazing.
yeah,
I have not heard about anyone doing that in 20 years.
yeah. It was quite loud. So
Yeah, it was. So I said, I thought the police were there for you. It was like,
knockdown ginger. Knockdown ginger.
oh, we used to call it knockdown ginger. You grew up in the south, so that's probably. Oh, so did Gawny.
Yeah.
But, you know, knock and run, knock and run.
whatever you call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Don't know whatever they called it in America. I don't know.
I can't say what they call it in America. It was
Oh, okay.
A slur.
Oh, it will get you cancelled. Okay.
I'm from the American South.
Oh, I think I know what it's
boy.
called. Hold on.
Oops.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
Steven
God,
says.
say
Yeah,
that.
nope. Steven says it's called Chappie Knocky in Scotland.
Amazing. I actually think that's kind of cool.
That's very cool. I like that. That makes it sound fun.
That's because most of them are ginger, so it technically doesn't work if they call it knockdown ginger.
Oh.
Anyway, right. Before we get ourselves into more trouble, well, let's talk about a new property that they revealed to some degree, using mostly all of the mouse functionality in both of the Joy-Cons. This game is called Drag X Drive. It is a wheelchair basketball game that's similar to Rocket League.
Oh, I like that.
It looked okay.
Oh yeah,
I
when
think
they
it
were
used to
revealing
be
this,
called Murder Ball. I don't know whether
Yes.
they ever changed the name.
I'm not quite sure they can call it Murder Ball anymore.
Murder Ball would be awesome. I would play that so much.
Yeah,
It does sound like something completely different, doesn't it?
Yes.
Murder Ball.
it
I
does.
think
Yeah,
It used to be called that, or wheelchair basketball now, I think it is.
it is wheelchair basketball.
That's what it's
I-
called?
It is just wheelchair basketball. Yeah.
That's so they should call it.
I know it is
I
kind
would've
of
been
disappointing. Yeah, so it's 3-on-3 wheelchair basketball controlled using basically both Joy-Cons on the desk.
That's cool.
One uses one left hand, right hand basically to control, and then you use the motion control in the Joy-Cons to pick it up and then throw the ball.
I think the
you can
controls
go up-
lost
you-
me, but
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it did with me as well. Originally, when they were revealing this, I thought this could be a DJ game because it had very DJ-like music to it and
Yeah.
scratching and stuff like that. It was very strange. But you can go up ramps and do tricks and do
Oh, that's
dunks and stuff like that. So it's very similar in that respect to some degree, like Rocket League. But I don't know if this is going to be online, an online component game, or if this is just single player or like local multiplayer. Not sure. They didn't really reveal much, but it's coming summer of 2025. But
Yeah.
I thought this looked kind of cool, but yeah, the controls kind of lost me.
Interesting.
It'd be like Arms. Like if I can play it normally, I
Yeah.
might give it a try.
very similar
But
actually. Yeah.
I'm not playing it with motions or mouses
It will
or
give
mice.
you an all new perspective and respect for those that actually do play wheelchair basketball. And you
That's
think,
true.
"This is
That's
actually
true.
very
That,
good."
yeah,
Takes
I
a
give you
lot
that.
of
Yeah, I'll
athletics.
give you that.
It's a niche market, and it's nice that they've like accepted that niche market, I guess. So.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So we've got two games that we need to discuss. Kylie, I'm gonna ask you to choose between option A or option B.
Well, I'm gonna say B.
We are going to talk about the last game that was shown on the Direct, which was
Just so happens to have a representative on your shelf.
Ooh.
It does. So this was the return of a 3D Donkey Kong game called Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Wait,
No.
they said banana,
Ooh,
not
Bonanza.
That did
I
get
was
me.
gonna
That
say,
did get me in the
is it
video.
banana or bananas?
No, Bonanza.
Bonanza, and it's like banana then za.
As long
Yeah.
as okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was gonna be sad if it was bonanza, as in BON. I was gonna be
No,
like,
it is Bonanza.
It's a great name.
okay, that
Yeah.
makes me much
Yeah.
happier.
Yeah, and when you get a big banana, it goes, ooh, banana.
So
Banana.
do I.
Oh,
Gordy,
that's
that
brilliant.
cracked me up in your video
Yeah.
when you did that, and then it did it in the.
I think that's going to be a short in the future, guaranteed. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was brilliant. So, basically, the main draw of this is it is a 3D Donkey Kong game where every single area of the map is destructible and usable.
Oh, I
So
like
you
that.
can clip off bits of the environment to throw at other bits of the
Yeah.
environment. You can skate on stones down hills,
That's
ground
cool.
pound through certain parts to find hidden secrets, and it's basically a collectathon like what Donkey Kong 64 and Mario Odyssey was very similar in doing. It is apparently running off the Mario Odyssey or an upgraded version of the Mario Odyssey engine. And my god, did this look incredible! They showed more on the
Always
Nintendo
have.
Treehouse a little bit late, like after the next day, and this has only just made me even more excited for the game.
From what I've seen of it, it looks a lot like Odyssey. Like it's very similar in like design and style and
Yeah,
everything about it.
Yeah,
It
even like the way that the characters speak and like the subtitles, the font that they use, and all that. It's all
yeah,
very, very similar.
yeah.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean,
No,
I
it's not.
did like the art style to it. It does look very, very good, and it's like if a door doesn't exist, make one.
Make one.
You just-
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they have also updated Donkey Kong's design. Somebody said that they're trying to get rid of the smell of rare. I don't think that's necessarily the case. No,
It's
no.
more
Someone at work said that.
Ah.
it's more going in line with the new movie design, isn't it?
Yeah,
Kind of
they've
thing.
moved
So
into the
Yeah,
movie
probably.
design and somewhat the classic Donkey Kong design as
it
well.
makes me think they maybe go in a new movie route with Donkey Kong as well, possibly with this though. Is what
Quite
I'm sort of
possible.
thinking
Yeah,
with it overall. But
yeah. The
we'll see.
the thing that I really like about it is how incredibly expressive it is, though. I mean, just to give it into context for Kylie, the end of the trailer comes and it's basically revealing the reveal date, and it comes and slaps down on Donkey Kong and he screams and it looks absolutely
The
shocked.
picture is amazing. Honestly, at
Yeah,
that
you should
point,
find the
like,
picture and show it because it is
I'll find
actually
it.
really cool. Like, there is so much expression within this game, and a lot of this is going to be, I wouldn't say create your own, because there'll be, there you go.
Oh, look at
Yeah,
that.
there you are.
Ah,
And his eyes sticking out as well.
Yeah.
that is cool.
Very typical
Yeah.
cartoon.
That's
So,
really good.
yeah, this comes out in July. So it's a month after the console launches. So we've got a bit of time to play a
Birthday
certain other
present.
game first.
Birthday present for me. Yay!
Yay! More money spent. Woohoo!
More money, more money.
Yeah, more money, more
It
money.
comes in
More...
one hand.
No money, no
goes
problems,
straight
right?
out.
Look, at this rate, it's not even going into my wallet. It's just going straight to the Nintendo.
I
Might
don't
as
even
well
want to
just-
think about
Nintendo's
this.
wallet.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, this was an absolute highlight for me because I thought this game looked
It looks
utterly
great.
incredible and something
Yeah.
that came out of nowhere.
The problem I think, what the problem Odyssey had is after a while it's very samey. Like there's not a lot. When getting to the later levels is a challenge, but it's all pretty much the same game. Like every level is exactly the same sort of style and just collecting moons in that game. I'm worried this game might have that same sort of endurance. Might not quite have it near the end as such, but. It's nice
disagree.
looking, and it's got a great art style. I like the comedy section of it is looking great. I want more of that in this game, like lots more cartoon reactions
Yeah.
and things. But
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to have a long-term lifespan. This game for me, kind of thing.
No, it'll be a one and done. You play it, you finished with it, you're done with it.
Yeah.
That's fine. I've got no problem with that. I did play Odyssey 3 times and really
Though-
enjoyed my playthrough every time.
Speedrunning community may love this game. I expect.
100%. And I'll be waiting to see what ADD Autumn Games Done Quick or Summer Games Done
Yeah.
Quick does
Yeah.
with this, because it'll be ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, right, final game, but actually was the first game in the showcase and the game that we knew about going into this because it was shown on the original reveal trailer. But they've given it a date, a name, and showed everything about this game. The new Mario Kart game. So
Yay!
the game is called Mario Kart World. It comes out on day of launch.
Oh, that's good.
And they revealed some very surprising features for this game, including,
You can be a cow.
Oh, that's cool.
it has 84 characters.
84?
co-
It's 84.
84 characters.
Wow.
It should have been
But-
60.
I mean, one of the characters is Coin Topper, which is the coin thing. When you jump
Yeah.
on it,
A lot of them-
Coin. So they
Yeah.
are sort of like scraping the barrel there with
I was
like.
gonna
Some of them
say-
are, but it does look like they've
I like that.
pretty much got most of the Nintendo or the Mario cast.
Mario
within this,
enemies and things, yeah.
including Moo Moo Meadows' cow.
Have we seen a Goomba yet? And does he wear a pirate hat?
I
Yes,
don't know,
yes.
but they better.
Yes, there is a Goomba. There is a Goomba.
But they better wear a
I haven't
pirate
seen
hat.
it wearing any hat. Yeah, it's got
There
to. It's
better
got
be
to.
a pirate hat.
Everything should have
It's alright,
pirate-
we've got the only pirate Goomba that matters.
Yes, yes. Because then I can get new art styles and everything made from him.
that's
So
right.
yeah.
True, true. Right, let me
In 4K.
Okay, right.
In 4K.
let me go over the features
4K,
before this
4K.
takes forever.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she
So,
said.
I know. So 84 characters. Cart customization is mostly gone, but they are preset carts. But there are a lot of carts within this game. There is rail grinding, there is wall jumping and boosting off walls, so you can jump. You can basically wall jump between. The main draw, two of the main draws of this is the free roam mode, where they said you can drive virtually everywhere in the
Oh,
map.
that's cool.
It looks good.
So you can free roam with friends, find new paths and all that. You can take pictures and all that with them. But the main draw is that Grand Prix are no longer really Grand Prix anymore in the traditional sense. So
Yes and no, but yeah.
let's get to that. So you'll have 4 stages as normal, which will make up your normal Grand Prix. However, rather than just going from one stage to another in a loading screen, you now have to drive to the next section of the course. So you have a race between the races.
I don't know if I like this or not. I don't know if
No, I absolutely love this idea. I think this
Okay.
is going to be chaotic brilliance.
so you have to, how like will you have to race to the line to be one of the first to the line maybe? I don't know how it's
So,
gonna, yeah.
so essentially, what it's going to do. So essentially, what it's going to do is you are going to, whatever position you finish the race out, it will put you in that position when you are due to go off between the races, and you race between them. If you lose positions between them, that's where you start, and it will be a rolling start going into the next section of the of the Grand Prix.
Okay. Interesting.
So you can still get boost. You can still get your boost starts, but it will be rolling, and the countdown will happen. So you still have to do the normal thing. So what I would imagine is when you come up to the start line for the next race, it won't allow you to have control, so you can still do the inputs for like the boost starts.
So how long is it going to take me, right, to finish one like
One Grand
track Grand Prix and this?
Because the stages are larger, I think probably about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe.
Okay, that's quite a long time.
It is a long
Okay.
time, but I really like the idea at least. But yeah, there was another mode where it was called Knockout Tour, I think it was,
Yes.
where there are, I think, 6 stages. There are 24 racers, but that's the default for Mario Kart World now is 24 racers, including
Crazy.
online. So you go between 6 different parts of the track, and it's basically you get knocked out if you fall below the threshold for each checkpoint gate. So say if you go into the first one, I think it's the top 18 go through, and then it's the top 12, and then the top 8, and then the top 4. And basically until everyone gets knocked out and you got a winner. I thought this was really cool.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, I like the idea of it, like knockout sort of kart style. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's not been something that hasn't been done before, though. I'm sure there is some other games that have done this before.
Yeah.
I think Burnout, possibly.
So I am
Like
going to
that.
bring this up because Brent has mentioned this in chat. Reminds me of Forza Horizon 2 Championships, where
There we
you
go.
convoy to the next starting area. This got mentioned on another video that I think I saw, where someone basically said that this is Mario Kart crossed with Forza Horizon, and I can't disagree.
Yeah, Forza
This whole
Horizon
game
does.
feels like
Yeah, the whole traveling between to get to your next track is a big thing in the Horizon games. So yeah,
100%. Yeah, it's gone more open world, and I think I can't see it as a bad thing. And this is I say natural revolution. I would say this is the biggest advancement we've had in a Mario Kart game in all of the series history.
If you like the driving and exploring and finding things, yeah, it's great for anyone. But if you just like the racing, might be a bit of a sticking point for some people. I'm a
It
little bit
might
chill on
be.
that, to be honest, at the moment.
No,
But we'll see.
I
We'll
do
see.
wonder how. I do wonder whether or not online they are going to have a traditional mode for it if
Yeah.
they, if they keep it to that way, so that people don't have to race between
If
races.
you've got the
but-
options, that'd be fine. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if there's an option, I don't see an issue with it. But anyway, so yeah, release date for this one, and my God, what a way to start the direct off, because
Definitely.
this was crazy. I even showed this to my wife,
And what do you think?
and she originally, before she saw this, said, "Do you really need a Switch 2?" Afterwards, she went, "Actually, this does look really cool. I give you that." So yeah, I might have turned her. So
Nice.
yeah, so that's always a win for me, because
Yeah.
there's not many games that she gets interested in. Mario Kart is the only one that seems to do it these days.
Okay.
Fine,
Nice.
can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That seems to be universal because my partner also very much enjoys Mario Kart. And when I said about the Switch 2 coming out, she said, "Are you really going to need a Switch 2 and whatnot?" And then it's like, showed her Mario Kart World. It's like, you got enough.
Yeah.
It's
So-
like,
I think-
get it.
so
Nice. Nice.
so essentially, what you're saying is that wives and girlfriends get in the way until Mario Kart gets involved. I'm kidding, of course. She can hear me in the next room.
Nice.
I'm on the sofa tonight.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
fine.
Yeah. Anyway, so like I said, launch day for this one. So that will take us naturally on to what the launch day and the price is for this particular console. June 5th it's coming out. So I called June as a prediction. I am glad to be right.
I
I
think
How,
stand corrected.
Yes.
I thought it would be October, so yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Dankel
so
was
too,
also
but-
correct last week too. So, however, there has been caused a little bit of a stir when it comes to the pricing, because we've got a standalone Switch 2, £395
Yeah.
sterling, or 395.99, or was it?
Yeah, something like that.
I think
yeah.
some retailers are listing it at 399.
Mhm.
And then there are some retailers, because there was another edition, which included a digital copy of Mario Kart Tour, or World Tour, World, sorry. Blech.
Well,
Yeah, yeah, Mario Kart World. I was reading something that said Welcome Tour and World, and yeah, just don't. $429.99. However, Kylie, this is where I will slightly justify in some degree, because this is where we're going to get to some more controversy that happened after the fact.
Yeah,
The
okay.
pricing of games themselves.
Yeah.
It was revealed, and Mike, you have the raw data here, don't you, when it comes to pricing?
yeah, well, for euros anyway, it's
Yeah.
like 479.99.
Mm.
Without the game. Oh, you mean the actual game?
No.
themselves?
Let's get to this anyway. So,
Okay, go on.
if I was to tell you that the Mario Kart bundle is cheaper to buy than buying the Switch plus a copy of the game on its own,
Yeah.
digital or physical.
It works out about 35 quid for the Mario Kart game, I think, if you buy it the digital one. On there.
And Mario Kart, when it comes to the game, the price of the game itself has been revealed to be
Too
80
much.
quid.
Yeah.
80 quid.
It's a decent discount.
And about 89.99 in euros.
Mm.
And this is a first for Nintendo,
Wow.
because digital games will cost less than physical games.
Which is good. That's good.
It is good,
But the
but
price
it's
of a
still.
physical game is still ridiculously expensive.
Mm,
Donkey Kong Bonanza is £65 digital, or
Yeah.
70 something pounds physical, £75 physical, and that's from the My Nintendo store, UK store.
I'd like to know how much the actual carts on the new carts are to make, but I would think it'd be less than $10 or something like that kind of thing normally.
Well,
Yeah.
well, considering what we said earlier, that cartridges may not store all of the data on them and may only be licenses for the game that require an additional download, it seems rather pointless to even buy a
It
physical
does.
copy of the game anymore.
Mm.
So everyone was wrong when they said that Microsoft and Sony were going to be the first ones to do the all-digital future. No, Nintendo have fully embraced it. The
It's where they
company
make
that was
money.
apparently wildly behind everyone else
Mm.
has decided to absolutely ruin the physical collector. Thank you, Nintendo. I hate you for this.
Brent has
Yeah.
the American
Yeah.
dollaros.
Brent has put in the US it's $450 standalone, $500 Mario Kart bundle, and it's $80 digital and $90 physical.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Ouch.
It's a lot
That's-
everywhere.
That's how much
That's a
games
load of
cost
mooning.
when I was a kid.
Yep.
Well, this is it, isn't it? We've almost gone back on ourselves now.
Yeah.
This is the
Like,
comparison.
I remember.
Nintendo 64 era, and it was like 70, 80, 90
Mm.
Yeah.
pounds, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, I've never spent that much on a game. To be
No,
fair.
me neither.
My mom
Sorry,
did.
we did. Yeah.
My mom did for me.
My parents did.
Yeah,
It was actually it was
But I only
actually
got
Sony
Christian
that brought in
games,
the
so.
well, it was Sony that brought in the price parity when it came to across the board. It was 40 or £50.
Yeah.
Right, and that was like it on the
Yeah.
PS1 and the PS2, and then everyone else went to suit.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Yeah.
$40,
Right.
$50.
And this is-
64 was about 50 quid. I remember when I bought there, but that's
So the 64 and the SNES were wildly different, varying prices when it comes to games. Certain games could
Very
be
expensive.
$39.99, and then certain games were like 75 to 80
Yes.
quid. And
Same
most
thing
of
with
that
Gawny.
was down to the fact that whether or not the chipset in them was custom built. So when you had games like
yeah.
Star Fox, which used Mode 7 for the SNES, that was a
Slight-
massively
yes.
expensive game
with
at
the
the time.
Super FX chip inside, are slightly
Yeah.
different. I understand what you're trying to say. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Right.
these games don't have that kind of technology in them
Mm.
because it's all built in on the console level rather than the actual, like, within, the hardware.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's in the
ROMs, yeah.
hardware, not the actual software or additional upgrades for software. So
You-
this seems a
yeah.
bit ridiculous.
You got to ask where this cost is coming from for the physical games, like why it's so wildly different, kind of thing. If that's
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's
And they
definitely
can't
margins
justify
somewhere.
this.
Yeah.
They can't justify this by saying that they're using a newer cartridge and all that sort of thing with a faster load speed because
It's a
cartridge
download
prices
card.
and
Yeah.
SD cards themselves, like we know, are wildly like cheap at these days. You might as well have just included an
Game
SD card
development
for your
is
games.
expensive.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
More people
Yeah.
work on it. I don't. You're going to pay the Nintendo tax, whatever you do with the
Yeah.
software. It's
Yeah.
their
And then
software's always going to be
another thing-
expensive.
Another thing is you don't hear about Nintendo having exceptional layoffs like the other companies. So
No.
maybe
This is
instead of
true.
like, oh,
Doesn't mean it
do we
doesn't
lay off
happen.
several
Yeah.
teams, or do we? Yeah, well, of course it happens. Of course it happens because
But
they
it's-
they did close down the San Francisco office, didn't they?
They
Yeah.
They
did,
moved
yeah.
people around, which is then really weird because now they've gone and opened up a Nintendo store in San Francisco, or
Francisco.
they're going to.
They are. It's in
Oh,
progress at the
full
moment, isn't it?
circle.
Yeah. It's a bit weird.
That seems to be a theme for this episode. Everything's full circle. It's all
It is,
going
yeah.
round and round.
Ah.
But then it's like, do we fire off these teams or do we just raise the prices for things?
Raise the prices. Clearly, they've gone with.
Yeah.
Kylie, from
I'm-
hearing the prices, what do you think on like the console price and game price kind of thing?
It's difficult for me because I still view, and I realize this is a wrong view, but this is just still how I view it. I still view the Nintendo Switch as a portable, like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
game device,
Hybrid,
like a
yeah,
Game
yeah.
Boy, like
Well,
a very,
it
very
is, yeah.
advanced Game Boy. But at the same time, I think, especially with the Switch 2, it is an actual, like, a full service game console. So it's hard for me, with that already preconceived notion, to think that would be over 300, pounds. Because to me, it's just a handheld. But it's not a
Yep.
handheld; it's a full console. So I think it's one of those, like, getting used to its new position in the whole console wars and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
The game prices, like, I hate to say that I'm kind of echoing Brent here. It was inevitable. It is inevitable. They've been saying for years they're gonna start upping those game prices. But the thing about Nintendo is they don't ever go down.
No,
No,
that's the
that's where
thing.
the biggest
Oh.
concern is.
Yes. You
Is
can
Yeah.
walk into cash converters, which is where I buy games from. Yes, and,
That's fine.
and the Nintendo games are not even. They're like maybe £10 off, maybe.
Yeah.
the same as
Right.
CEX.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't even look at CEX Nintendo. There's no point at all. Yeah, might as well.
That'd
buy
be even more normally. So.
Oh gosh.
Sometimes
yeah,
they are,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then a game which is not really selling games anymore anyway. But they were notorious. You'd go in and would have a brand new copy next to a used copy, and it was like a £5 difference.
Yeah.
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 They sell trainers now.
Yeah, they sell all kinds of like merch and stuff, not
Yeah,
actual games.
yeah, it's like yeah, we can just
Elsewhere.
walk. Let's walk into a game. It's not really a game anymore. It's just Sports
No.
Direct with a tiny little cubby
Yes.
hole at the
Yeah.
back for games.
It's sad.
Just such a shame.
It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
going
so now-
going digital with this sort of thing as well, it's not going to help those sort of stores either, is it? Let's be honest.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. And this breaks everything that I believe in as a person when it comes to games. I prefer physical, always have done, always like to have something in my
Yeah.
hands that I can touch, smell, sniff, taste, whatever, all the likes.
Oh, no,
I like
don't
all the
taste
senses.
those-
don't taste them. Don't taste.
No,
Oh.
but that
Will they
ruins
taste
the
different?
idea. No, that's my point. Is how do we know that they're still going to taste like crap?
Who's gonna be the first licker? Come on, there's gonna be someone here.
It would have been me. It would have been me.
Yes.
But I
Okay.
won't be doing that anymore. So at this point, I now have to accept.
Oh no, don't do it, Mike! Don't do it.
We've all been there. It's fine. We all know what it tastes like. It tastes like dirt. Yeah, I'm really annoyed by this because I don't want to go all digital. I don't like the idea of it, but Nintendo are basically forcing me to do so.
I think it's inevitable. Unfortunately, it's going to happen
It
eventually,
is.
and I think
It
they're just going
Don't
to
like
introduce it too early, aren't they? But it's
Yeah,
it's-
I guess I've become more accustomed to the idea with Steam now, to some
Hmm.
degree.
But Steam's a lot cheaper. You could get loads more
That's-
sales and things. That's the
Yeah.
main
And that-
thing with
that-
Steam.
And it was mostly the reason why I wouldn't pick up half of these games that were shown, because a lot of them are all going to be elsewhere for a lot less.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
so-
Danker got
Well,
the...
for example, Street Fighter 6. How much is that going for now?
Red Dead
cheap.
Redemption 2 is £15 at the moment on Steam, just to let
Yeah.
everyone know, because that's
Yeah, yeah.
that's worth picking up for that price, definitely.
Yeah, so we'll go into this with Danker in a minute, because I actually did forget about one major
Hi,
announcement that they made.
How are you?
I can't believe I skipped over this. This is terrible.
Oh, it's
There is a new console coming to the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass.
Yes.
If I was to say, what does Soul Calibur, Wind Waker,
Oh,
and
What?
and F-Zero GX have in common?
Is this the Smash Brothers?
No,
That would be awesome, though.
There was a
No,
Smash
what-
Brothers as well.
on this particular console, there was also a Mario Strikers game, Pokemon Gale of Darkness.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, GameCube is now coming to this service, and they revealed 3 games to start. Yeah,
There you go, it's on the
thank you
Switch.
for that
It's
visual
on the
ex-
Switch.
Yeah,
Brilliant. There's
Yeah.
your short.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so launching on dev release, it will have free games, which are, I've already said, Soul Calibur 2, which is the good version. with Link.
Great release. Yeah, that's a great game to
Amazing
get on there.
release.
That's an amazing game without the Link stuff. So that's
Yep.
amazing. If
Oh,
you're
I know,
going to-
yeah. F-Zero GX, which is hands down the best F-Zero game,
Yeah,
and
easy.
and the reason why Nintendo have never made an F-Zero game since, because Sega one-upped them by doing it.
F-Zero 99, but yeah. Anyway,
Doesn't count. It's basically just a ROM of F-Zero through the SNES. Just added a few extra cards.
Agree to
Uh,
disagree.
Yeah, I don't mind F-Zero 99.
It's very good, actually. It's a very good game.
It wasn't quite Tetris 99 or
No, or
35.
Mario 35. Re-release
Yeah.
Mario 35 as a
Mario
99 one. Come on.
cowards.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Um,
liked that. I could actually win that. I think the closest I
too.
ever got in Tetris 99 was like 4th.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
couldn't even make the podium in that.
I
Look
got
forward to
first.
Mario 40, I guess.
Very 40. Yeah.
No, they have to double
40
it.
if
In
I'm
Mario
honest.
50.
Mario 50. Oh,
Mario
God.
50.
Oh, don't say that.
Makes me feel old.
Yeah. Anyway, well, it's fine. Anyway, yeah, and also Wind Waker is coming. There,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
the one
great.
I was going to say. That's
I
the one
know.
that's making me want that straight away, just so I can play
Is
that
it-
portably.
Is it by any chance the HD version that they released?
No,
No, it's just a port
No,
of
just the
basically
port.
all the-
Whether
Okay.
they'll
Probably
add,
because they improved that a lot.
yeah, but the only thing they've really changed was the sail is the main thing in the Wii U version.
Yeah.
They changed that, made
Swift
it a lot
sail,
quicker. Swift
yeah.
sail, that's it.
So
But-
whether or not they're going to include Swiss Sail, who knows?
They may include it. They may be able to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if they can
Yeah.
do it for to put this out of there for the people who speedrun this game, there is lots of ROM versions which have included the Swift Sail quite easily.
Yep.
So if Nintendo really wanted to, they could actually quite add it straight away.
Yeah, they could.
They won't, but you know.
No, they won't. But Danka raises an
Well,
important
it
point,
is
by
at
the way.
120 frames per second, isn't it? So maybe it'll just
Is
look
it? Is it?
I don't know if it is. No, it won't be.
No.
Danka raises a really good point in the chat, by the way.
I did have a
All
list.
I want to know is if the boot sequence can be used to press the buttons to enable the
Yes!
separate sounds.
And 4 players doing it at once to get the.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, please do.
Yes. And you could do the bouncing one. It's like a little baby. Anyway, yeah.
Oh god, that was horrific.
Yeah. I do have a list of the other games which are going to be on
Yep.
this as well.
Yeah, so I saw Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Pokemon Colosseum,
Yep.
Mario Strikers,
Yep.
Path
Fire Emblems. There's a Fire Emblem
of
version.
Radiance.
Chibi Robo and Luigi's Mansion
Yep.
as well.
Yeah. Which someone noted, which was Spawn Wave on his YouTube video, that these are all games on the GameCube that have an exceptional value to them in terms of the second-hand market.
Definitely. Yeah. The
Including
main
Chibi
thing.
Robo, which has now become one of the rarest games on the system.
The main thing for this for me is that they're all going to be playable in HDMI, which means it's quite easy for me to stream these games legally, shall we say.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah, let's say straight
that's
legally.
That's the main thing why I don't have any problem with this whatsoever. This is going to make it a lot easier for me to stream these games in a much easier way. Granted, Wind Waker is not available on the Wii U, blah blah blah, but there are the rest of these games on there. They've never been on a HDMI console, so this is going to be
That's
great
true.
for me. So
Well, unless of course you include the Wii HD converter and played it
Yeah,
via
yeah.
compatibility,
There's
but
ways
trying
around
to
it,
buy
yeah.
copies of the game is just ridiculous nowadays.
yeah, definitely.
I hope that they do include some other major titles from the GameCube. Brent's mentioned it. No Time Splitters. I wish they would include Time Splitters.
There's a new
I
one
don't-
rumoured to come in though, so maybe
It's
not
not-
on that.
Look, it's not going to happen. Free Radical Design is dead.
Don't know who
unfortunately,
has the
so-
license for the old games now. I presume EA somewhere in there.
Unfortunately not. No, EA only has the probably only has the license for Future Perfect because they were the publishing
Yeah,
partner.
that's true. That's
Um,
true.
But that was then bought out by Embracer Group, unfortunately. And
That could get
Embracer
sold on.
Yeah,
That's where
Embracer
games
basically.
go to die.
Well,
IPs
Embracer-
go to die.
Well, Embracer basically reformed Free Radical's design and then shut them down again. So that
Yeah.
IP is in limbo now. So we won't get a re-release of it at all,
Not
which
cool.
is such
Actually,
a
the
shame.
games are technically playable through another game, aren't they?
Yes,
I'm trying to
they
remember what
are.
it is.
It's the
Yes.
home front.
Home
Uh,
front.
Front, that's it.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
home, which Brent has mentioned is Dambuster Studios, but Dambuster Studios also got shut down.
They did, yeah. But that
Yeah.
game still exists.
Yes,
Um,
it does.
I'm thinking of other GameCube games I want to see on there. Smash Bros. Melee is obviously the first one you go to, I think.
Yep, double
Oh
dash.
no, free melee.
Double dash.
Free melee.
Free melee.
No. I think having melee on there would be great for the competitive
Well,
Smash scene, so
they've
long as it
got,
played perfectly to it.
They got a GameCube controller they're
Yeah.
releasing with this as well, so it makes
Yes, they have.
why they haven't got this already. And you've also got the wired Switch adapter you can probably use on this as well. I
So
expect.
long
kind
as
of
you
thing,
can
so.
use it for that, that would be great. But I don't
Yeah.
know if it's necessarily going to be the case.
Yeah, we'll see if we let's see.
Double Dash needs to make a return on this.
Star Wars Squad.
What,
What's
like
it?
the
Squadron.
Rogue
Squadron. Rogue Squadron. Yeah.
Yep,
And I would also, I suppose Jedi Outcast, but I think that's already on.
it's already on the Switch.
It's already on the
Spiders
Switch already.
Did a port
Yeah.
of it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think other games.
Um,
Oh, Metroid Prime is already on there. So the new remaster.
So Metro Prime 2 and 3 will probably
2 and
come
3
to
be
it.
good. Yeah, definitely.
Well, no, 2 will be. 3 was a Wii
Oh, 3 is
game, wasn't
Wii
it?
U. Sorry, yeah, Wii. Sorry.
Yeah. I know it had a remaster or remake recently, but Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door
Oh, yeah.
is a
Yeah.
quintessential game on the system, so it needs to come.
Unlikely they'll release that because of that
Mario
reason, though.
Sunshine,
And
because
That's
let's
already
face
coming.
it,
I don't. Yeah, but
They
I
already
don't-
got confirmed, didn't it?
you can already play this on the Switch. So, like, if you've got the
Yeah,
collection,
you
so
can.
I
so
don't
long as
see the
it's
reason.
not-
only if you picked it up because it was a
Yeah.
limited release, wasn't it?
Yes, it
I
was,
suppose you
it's
still got
still-
Galaxy as an exclusive then for that.
Yeah, and I'm going to be controversial anyway. It's still a crap game.
So I was waiting for Pete to say
Ooh.
No.
that. He doesn't.
I
Pete.
have played and beaten. Look, I'm just going to say on the Super Mario 3D All Stars, I have played and beaten Super Mario 64. I have played and beaten Super Mario Galaxy. I have played Sunshine.
Thank you.
Have you never
Not
beaten
beaten it.
Sunshine? Oh,
I've
come
beaten
on,
it. I've
dude.
not beaten it.
Nah,
You
no,
can-
no, no. It's sorry, it's the worst 3D Mario game.
You can go to Gawny7789 YouTube channel right now and watch the full playthrough
Watch
of
it.
Mario
Watch it.
Sunshine on
Yeah,
there to
I'll watch
understand
it.
how
I'll
to-
never play it.
That more horrible.
I don't think I've
I will-
100% completed it. I think I just
Doesn't
yeah, but I did finish it.
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's a game that I'll never play again because I didn't like it.
There's a lot of problems in that game. I think Pachinko and the Desert Bird is two problems straight away on the actual shines.
Taking away movement options to put them onto Flood was a massive problem.
Yeah, I get that. But then they didn't really bring them back in Galaxy or in Odyssey either, really, in a way. So
That's
I'm not
true.
really that bothered about that.
But
to be
they just
honest.
felt generally better than actually
Yeah,
controlling the Flood
yeah,
anyway.
Yeah, I do get it. I think the whole thing was Flood was to show off the controllers and the fact that you can
It
click
was
it
the
in
analog
and
triggers.
hold it kind of thing. I think that was the whole point
Yeah.
of the whole game, really.
It-
But
It was,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any other games on the GameCube that were either first party or third party that are actually like warranting a release on this particular system.
Twilight Princess? Question mark.
Twilight
That's
Princess
a-
would probably make it. I mean,
That's a
if they
Wii
ever did
as well.
if they ever did a Wii Virtual Console Wii version, they would probably get included.
I prefer the GameCube version, if I'm honest. It's really strange, but I just liked having the physical controller in that mode much better than having
Makes
the
sense, yeah.
waving
Yeah, I
your
get
Was
it.
flipped
fans
as
about.
well, wasn't it?
Yeah, they
flips
mirrored
the
it,
yeah,
didn't they?
very weird. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a different experience, I guess, having a mirrored mode. But
Yeah. Oh, one third-party game. I know it's probably available on the Switch already, but the original version needs to make a return on it. Resident Evil 4
oh, good shout, yeah.
and Beautiful Joe 1 and 2.
Oh yes.
Yes, 100%. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but yes, I would 100% have that.
Killer 7 as well, possibly.
That Star Fox Assault.
Star Fox Adventure and Assault.
Adventure and Assault.
Locks, I think.
Yeah, I'll be happy with those two.
Yeah.
Mario Party 5, maybe.
If they got all the Mario parties on one system, like from 1 to 7, that would be pretty awesome. But I'm not sure how they would. Oh, they can do it because of the microphone that's built into the
Yes.
Switch system now.
Yes. Why? Hey, you Pikachu will
hang
actually
on.
work on that now.
Four Swords Adventures. Isn't there like
Oh.
the Four Swords?
Oh my God!
the
Please
Four
include Four Swords Adventures.
Yes,
Yeah.
very
No,
good.
no. I've got an even better one for you. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
Didn't they re-release that though? I think they've already
Doesn't
done a
matter.
re-release.
Doesn't matter. Include the original version, you cowards.
Master Quest,
Thank
Zelda
you.
Master Quest.
Oh, the Zelda Master Quest.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, I would say, is it necessary when you got Ocarina of Time on the N64 system?
Yes.
But it has got the Master Quest, hasn't
Yes,
it?
Master Quest is a different experience. All the dungeons are completely different,
Yeah.
much harder, and I'd recommend trying it. If you haven't played there's a 3DS version. Unlocks Master Quest afterwards, but other than that, it's never been re-released. It's always been on the GameCube version as such. So that would be pretty cool if they did something like that.
If they wanted to support the system as well, which we don't really know much about them other than obviously doing Hogwarts Legacy, include the 3D MK games.
I'd love to say Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, but that is never going to be released anywhere because the movie license for that is no chance getting released ever.
Not a chance, no.
Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes.
Never happening. Never happening, unfortunately.
Never.
No, never. Never happening. No, it's never happening. If you know about Silicon Knights, then you know it's never going to happen. Silicon Knights no longer exists.
Resident Evil 0.
Resident Evil. I think the old Resident Evil games, including 0, 1 remake, and like, if they included the remake version of 1, that would be fantastic.
Now this one I would definitely love to have here.
Go on.
Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh,
I'd love to play that portable.
Yeah.
I'd love to play that portable. That'd be amazing. But it's not going to happen.
Great.
But that would be amazing to see.
Probably not. No, but there were so many good third-party games from Sega that came out on that system.
Definitely.
Because it was the first one that they could do it.
Yeah, you saying like Silicon Knights, disappearing and no longer exist and stuff like that. But it is possible for these game development companies to come back from the dead, because Acclaim have come back from the dead, haven't they?
They have, yeah, but the problem with Silicon Knights is that they went completely defunct after they had a court case that with Epic when it came to use of the Unreal Engine, and I think it was the third one for 2 Human on the 360. So yeah, it's probably never happening.
There's a couple of more other interesting ones I don't think we've mentioned so far. Eternal Darkness was one of them. I don't know if that's
100% needs to make a return.
And Wario World, which is another one which everyone always forgets about.
Wario World was a good game.
It was a good game, but it came out fairly late on the console, so not many people sort of played that one as much. But
yeah. If they could, how about this? If they could pull it off in a way that's possible. Donkey Kong Jungle Beat and Donkey Konga.
Oh.
I was just thinking Donkey Konga, yeah.
Terrible game, but hey, it's fine.
I mean,
if there's mind you, that doesn't have a USB-C port, would it? That would be an actual, not USB, but
there was a GameCube, adapter, or
controller.
So you got the adapter. You could probably work with that.
The bongo itself is quite rare nowadays.
Yeah. Everyone's got one in their background of their videos somewhere. I'm sure Mike's got one in there somewhere in his collection there.
No, funnily enough, I haven't.
I've seen one.
And the amount of YouTube videos where people just got that on their shelf somewhere,
Yeah. Damn collectors.
It never gets played. Yeah.
But that's the problem. What's happened with the GameCube is those people who didn't actually play the GameCube and support it when it came out now want to collect for it because it's valuable. I never cared about the GameCube.
Everything else I'm seeing is third-party stuff like Super Monkey Ball and stuff like that. So that's already re-released anyway. Yeah.
There's a lot of games that did get revived on the Switch through
Pikmin 2. Does that have been out already? I don't know if Pikmin 2 came. I know Pikmin 1 had a re-release, but I don't know about Pikmin 2.
I think
Pikmin 1 and 2.
Yeah, it did.
Both had re-release.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then 3 obviously. Yeah, so all 4 Pikmin games are playable on the Switch.
Spider-Man 2.
Do it, you cowards. Well, because Tony Hawk's is coming, you might as well just include Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 and 3.
It's technically there already, isn't it? Yeah. So.
Yeah, might as well just... And 4. Might as well just include it.
Yeah. Otherwise...
It'll do.
Simpsons Hit and Run.
Road Rage. Do it.
Road Rage.
Do it. Road Rage. Anyway, that's enough of that, because we've talked more than enough, and now we're just listing games.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
what's going to happen?
So yeah, that's the Switch 2 presentation, and my God, there was a lot of information to digest throughout it all, including 2 days worth of the Treehouse afterwards as well, with lots of gameplay being shown for various games, including Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Metroid Prime 4, which we didn't really even talk about the fact that the Switch 2 version has mouse controls on it and 120 frames per second at and 4K 60 and looks
Yeah.
incredible. But yeah, so I'm just going to go around the room. Kylie, I'll start with you because you didn't watch it, but what do you think about all the information that was told to you, and would it be influencing your decision to possibly buy a Switch?
That is a lot of information. A lot of wine. Well, drinking. Alcohol. I am still in a wait and watch situation. I need to see how this is going to go, what more games are going to be out, that type of thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sold on it right now, but I'm also not completely going, nope, not for me. So that's a plus.
Sure.
Hmm.
Gawny, have you pre-ordered a console yet?
I've not pre-ordered yet. I may be doing it with Currys because they can pre-order in store with them, and I've got some deals and discount vouchers to use for them, so
Yeah.
might be doing it with them. I've got real concerns about this upgrade in games luck because I've got a lot of Nintendo first-party games I'd like to continue playing, especially online ones which haven't actually been added to that list yet of games which are going to be on there. So like Splatoon, Mario Kart 8. Obviously, there's going to be a new Mario Kart anyway, so it probably isn't likely to happen yet.
Yeah, but I'd still like to go back and actually play Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
If there are certain moments where I don't like World as much.
Smash Bros as well. The Ultimate isn't on that list yet.
I would hope that it is, but it's licensing issues. You can never judge whether it's going to be.
That might be the problem with the other characters in that game going to a new console. There might be some issues on that side. You might be right, but yeah. Other than that, it's going to be the cost because if there's like 10 games, for example, I have that I need to be upgraded to play, that's £7 to £20 per game. That's a lot of money straight away before I even thought about the other things I've got to buy for this console kind of thing. Like I said earlier, I don't have a 4K TV, so I'm going to have to spend money to get a 4K TV to get the actual whole experience of it. I haven't got I've got 2 Pro controllers for the Switch, but will I need to buy 2 new Pro controllers to play all the games on this console? We don't know yet.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a £75 per controller for even the Pro controllers. They were about £60 on the Switch, but you get some discounts and you can find other ways around that. But even so, that's like £150 gone straight away if you're buying 2 of them to have multiplayer. It's not great for families straight away. Like if you've got a family of 2 or 3 kids playing who want to play games together, you've got to spend that money to play Mario Kart together and things. That's making that £80 plus £150 just for 2 controllers, or more if you want to play 4-player or whatever. That's a huge cost straight away before we've even thought about anything else. And this is where people are getting a bit like, well, I'm not going to spend that money on that because I'll just get one for now and get a controller later on down the line. But some families can't do that, and this is why I hate this whole pricing system. I just don't like the way they've done it, personally.
Yep.
I totally get where you're coming from with it, mate, but fortunately, a lot of obviously like the Switch 1 games that you'll be able to play on the Switch 2 anyway. So I would have thought you'd still be able to play, Smash Bros without a problem. The only difference is you won't have the upgraded
features.
Or,
I suppose that's one way to look at it. Yeah.
I think that's more or less what they're trying to get at with like the Switch 1, Switch 2 experience or whatever they're calling it for the upgrade.
Just the frame rate though.
Your 120 frame rate. It plays better, it performs better. I mean, the ones that you'd really have to pay for is because it has extra content as well. Like Super Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV or whatever it is, which has got new game modes and things for you people to play.
There has been
same with Kirby and the Forgotten Land as well.
There has been a list of a few other free ones, I think.
Pro controllers for the first Switch you can still play these games on the Switch 2.
Hmm.
Whether you'll be able to play Switch 2 games with them remains to be seen. But
Yeah.
I think it does depend game per game. Because if the game doesn't use mouse controls, there's no real reason why the normal Switch controllers can't work with them.
Yeah.
Or, like with the chat function, which you can do on the Switch anyway.
Yeah,
the-
that's on
the
an
Switch 2
OS
anyway.
level.
Yeah, so you can still do that. Technically, the only difference is you won't have that C button on the controller. I personally won't be picking up a Pro controller from day one. I won't be, unless I can't use my own Pro controller.
Yeah.
Because I've got like 3 Pro controllers for the Switch, the normal Switch. I've also got like 5 or 6 different Joy Cons.
I got a couple of wired ones as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think on that front, when it comes to upgrading to the new system, if you are a previous Switch owner, it's not too much of a problem because you could still use your hardware with it. And one thing we didn't touch upon was there are some games that you cannot use the Switch 2 controllers with. And that includes the like of Game Builder Garage, 1-2 Switch, everybody 1-2 Switch.
Yes.
Names are
Ring
jumping
Fit
out at me
Adventure.
at the moment. Ring Fit Adventure.
Ring Fit Adventure,
But you
wow.
can still use the original controllers with them. You just can't charge them on the console. On the new console.
So the thing that they were saying about compatible Switch games is probably what they meant by compatible Switch games, is that they won't work. They will work, but they won't work with the new hardware.
They've got no way
in
to actually
terms
put
of-
them physically on the new console because the way they click
because of
in.
the lack
Yeah.
of the,
Yeah.
it's the lack of the IR sensor as well.
Yes. Well, that's the case for like Game Builder Garage with the IR sensor.
Same for
Same
1-2
with
Switch.
Ring Fit.
1-2 Switch as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Labo VR is.
It'll be the same with Labo as well.
With it. So I think Labo 1, 2, 3 you can use, but obviously that uses the original controllers for the Switch 1. Whereas the VR set, you have to actually put the console into
I
it.
think there is some.
Yes, it'll be
yeah.
large. It'll be larger, won't fit.
Oh, okay.
But that
Interesting.
doesn't mean they might not see VR capability sometime down the line. I mean, it does have the USB point.
There was
on top,
mention
so perhaps
of that in the parental controls part, wasn't there? There was a VR section on there mentioned very briefly, but I don't know if that's related to that or if it's showing that you could use the VR as the little goggles from that thing with the weird switch setup kind of thing. Nah, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not VR, is it?
it's
Anywho,
possible. It is very, very possible. So you never know. They may make a return to VR in a
It's-
different capacity.
It's certainly got the power to run a VR setup. If it's doing 4K setup stuff, it should have the power to do a VR setup in general.
you would probably hope so, but who knows at this point. Anyway, I think this is probably gonna. We've gone very long on this one, so we'll probably have to put a full stop at this point. So we'll just do some quick closing points. I think Gawny's mostly covered his, so Mike, we'll go to you. What any concerns that you might have that you haven't already mentioned, or is this basically a day one purchase for you as a Nintendo
I mean, this
fan?
for me is a day one purchase. I mean, I am a big Nintendo fan. Obviously, the big selling points for me is Mario Kart World. Donkey Kong Bonanza looks absolutely stunning. I'll definitely be
Every time we say that, it's great.
as well.
It is
Bonanza.
No.
I love it.
For me, ideally, the ability to be able to play games that were not available on Nintendo Switch from third parties, so like Street Fighter 6, Final Fantasy 7 Remake Intergrade. So the first one, I'll probably only play that. If the second one comes onto the Switch too, I won't play that because, it's not been very well received. So,
It's not
I
very
might just
good.
give that a miss. Yeah. No.
I've not played it, so I don't know yet.
It's not very good.
Not very good.
I'll play the original on the Switch anyway.
Fair enough.
A couple of other games that are coming in the system I may pick up as well. So maybe Civilization 7 on the Switch 2. basically for the mouse controls more than anything else to see how that plays. I've not really actually played any of the Civilization games, to be fair. So
That's a great
not a very
series.
jumping point.
I do like it. Yeah.
Civ 5.
Seven?
Civ 5.
Five, Civ 5. Okay. Yeah, I'll see if that ever comes round. Yeah, Civ 5 remastered.
Get it on Steam for like £2 or whatever it is.
I mean, for
Oh, that
new
means having the
games,
PC
you've
that
got
actually
Phoenix-
requires it.
True.
Yep.
I mean, for new games, I suppose basically the ability to replay games that I already own on the Switch 2. That's fine. Metroid Prime. Also, I might only just pick. Well, I'll probably pick up the Switch 2 version for that anyway. And it probably can be played on the Switch 1 anyway, because
It
if
will
the
be.
Switch 1 is on the cart, it's only when you plug it into the Switch 2 will you have to upgrade it and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
very excited for Metroid Prime 4, I must say. I'm looking forward to that.
looks good. I mean,
I'm-
I was wowed by how good Metroid Prime Remastered looked on the Switch. And then you look at like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, it's like, oh wow, this
Yeah.
is amazing.
So for me, I was never a big Metro Prime fan. I didn't mind it. It was not my go-to. The 4 looked amazing, and if I'm going to be picking it up, I'll just pick the Switch version up and then just do the
Yeah.
upgrade on it, because I can no doubtedly but get the Switch version for a lot cheaper than the Switch 2 version.
I think Metroid Prime was my first Metroid game, so I think I'm a little bit biased on that side.
Yeah,
But
I played Prime 2 and I wasn't blown away by it back in the day on the Cube. So
it's a great puzzle game that has shooting in it, is the best way I can describe it. So
yeah,
it just adds the shooting and the bosses and stuff. It's just something extra on top of all the puzzles you got to do and work.
yeah.
The stuff
It's
you
all
got to work
about
out.
puzzle,
Exactly.
traversal, and
Yeah.
investigation,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And that's the way Metroid should be. I think.
Yeah, it
Honest.
makes sense. So
Yep.
anyway,
I'm all for it. Price was a bit,
yeah,
but that's with everything. Unfortunately, that just seems to be the natural step for these things. And I think, like with Tears of the Kingdom, when that was like a £60 game when that came out, it
yeah.
was just always going to go that way, isn't it? Because they
It
did
was.
say then it's like some games are they're just going to be worth more. They're
Yeah.
going to cost more. It's like
Yeah, they were
this is the way
prepping
we're
us
going.
for it.
It just means people will buy less games. I just think it will hurt them in the long run. I think personally, but
Yeah, they
To
probably
be fair,
will.
I'm not short of games. I mean, I think I've got around
You
about
got
500
you got enough to
or
play there
something.
behind you. But
Yeah, I think you
Yeah,
have.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, just being able to play all of them on the Switch too, I think not a problem.
it'll be all right.
So I'll close this out with some quick thoughts on this, and I'll basically mirror what I said on the Game Chat Light podcast with Mike, Gawny, Barry, and Rich, where I said Nintendo managed to do a great job of getting the hype built up to a ridiculous point, to then slap you around the face with a fish and go, here's the price of it, and here's every crappy little thing that we're doing with it. Not a fan of it, was not particularly sold on it. But let's just say the hype got me as a Nintendo fan, and I have pre-ordered I have pre-ordered the console, and I will be getting it because coverage. I am a content creator at heart, and I should really be doing something with it. So,
Oh yeah.
hey, and I enjoy a good Nintendo console, so it'll be nice to have it, obviously. But let's just say that I'm not too happy about the lack of physical games to some degree. The price increase, the price of the console itself was, whilst expected, was still a little bit like a sticker shock, as they call it, and it was like, ugh. But I think the price somewhat is justified by the absolute increase in power that they had with the console by comparison to like the upgrade from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2.
I don't
Like-
think it's the price of the console itself that really throws me off. It's the games.
Yeah.
No,
But
the
then
games
if
are the
Mario
biggest
Kart
sticking
World
point.
really is, if it really is as big as it looks, and there are apparently more modes that they haven't shown yet, so we
Well, I'm
might
not
see them
surprised
in
by
the
that.
Direct. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, I think they'll have a classic mode. They'll have a battle mode like of some sorts. It wouldn't surprise
There'll
me
be
at all.
enough in Mario Kart to warrant the cost, but it's just the initial shout of it being that amount. It's just shocked so many people, I think. And
Yeah,
I think the problem we got in the future is how much is the next Mario game going to be? How much is the next Zelda game going to be as well? Is that going
Yeah,
to be the same price, or is it
100%.
going to be more than that? This
yeah.
is the real problem we've got here.
Mm-hmm.
I
Hey.
think if you look at it as a case by case basis, or like a year after year. Now we're still playing Mario Kart 8 like even today, and it's been what 7-8 years now for the console. So if you take down 60,
Yeah, but if you also include the fact that it came out on the Wii U, that game is 11 years old.
11 years old. Yeah.
it is 11 years old. It is 11 years old. But what I want to say is that if you bought it like 8 years ago, like if it was £50 or whatnot, then and you think, well, that's only what like €7 a year or €8 a year. You kind of think, well, okay, well, if I'm still playing Mario Kart World in 7 years,
I think they'll probably
Well,
they probably would have sold more consoles if they announced Double Dash straight away in the GameCube games, personally. But
probably. But
Probably.
you say that it's only cost you €50, but what about the booster course pack?
Well, then it made it cost
But
them
all the
a bit more,
amiibos
but then,
related to
you're
the
still
suits.
playing it.
Yeah,
but-
I know,
yeah,
I know, but you still have to include that as an
yeah,
extra
yeah,
cost.
you do have to include it. You do have to. Yeah,
You
it
know.
is an extra
And the fact
cost.
that you bought
You
it
think-
on the Wii U as well.
But then again, look, you're still playing it even now. And like Super Mario Odyssey, you may have played that through like the first few months, and you haven't played it since. Then you pick it up again, you start playing it.
Sorry, who
put
are
it
you
back down
talking
again.
to? I've played it 3 times, man, all the way through
Yes,
3
you
times.
played it 3 times all the way through, yeah. But there were periods where you didn't pick up the game at all, wasn't there?
For
There
a
were
couple
dry
of years,
spells.
yeah.
Yeah. A
It's
few
just-
years, and you think, do you know what? I'm going to get back into it again. And
Yeah,
you
let's
play
not
it
talk
again.
about dry spells. I had many of those over my life. And that's where we're going to end it for today. Kylie, close
Wow.
us out.
Yes.
I want to talk
Come
about
on.
dry spells.
Yeah.
Kylie,
Not you,
close
all
us
that
out,
wine.
please.
Well, that's going to do it for us. So I'm going to ask these lovely people, starting with Gawny, where they can find you out there in Never Never Land.
Oh, thank you. You can find me at Gawny7789. I'm on both YouTube and on Twitch now. I've been doing Twitch streams. We've been doing, well, we haven't done for the last 2 weeks, but next week, next Wednesday, we're doing another Stardew Valley multiplayer stream. We've had 3 of us all streaming together at the same time and everyone all chatting together. It's been really good fun to do so. So definitely be doing that again on Wednesday. On YouTube stuff, I'm a little bit behind on schedules and things to doing uploads, but I am trying to finish Paper Mario and get that uploaded and done within the next week or so. And I've also got some other series on the go. I did start Dave the Diver, but I need to do some more recording of that to get that up aboard as well. So I will be catching up in the next few weeks, hopefully. But thank you. See you there.
Nice. Definitely.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Mike Tendo, best friend of the show. Where can they find you?
You can find me over at www.miketendo64.com. We are also on the social media platform formerly known as X, Blue Sky.
Formerly known as X. Formerly known as Twitter.
Formerly known as Twitter. That's the one. Well, who knows what it's going to be called? Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
start again, but it's late now, so we're just going to keep going. So, yes,
Must
the
spell
social
it.
media platform formerly known as Twitter. That's right. Blue Sky, we post videos, gameplays, and also have our gaming chat over on YouTube and on Spotify.
Nice.
If you like podcasts, you can listen to us again on that one. We did a one together all about the Switch as well. So
That's right.
We did.
It's
Doubly
It was good fun to record, especially with Barry and Rich as well.
yeah, Barry and Rich are great guys, to be fair.
They're
Yeah, it was-
great, and especially once you get them going, because they're very, very insightful people as well. I mean, Barry's got a lot of connections, and does his own
Yep.
impact directs and things like that, and talks with a lot with publishers and organisers, and so you
Mhm.
get that kind of background. Oh, that was one thing we didn't talk about: 3D audio, but that'll have to be for another
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sure we'll talk about it more in the future when the Switch
It's
comes out.
it's useless to me. I've got a hearing aid. It won't work for me anyway. There you go.
Cool. All right.
Right. Okay. I'm sorry, my phone's doing weird things right
Hey, where can we
Oh.
find you?
I was waiting for. You can find me here.
Just there,
Yeah,
in that room,
I mean,
right there,
that's
right there,
true.
wherever he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite
He's in his room.
true.
Yeah, you can find me in this room and also in various other rooms in my house, but you can't see those.
No.
But you can also.
I've seen them.
Yes, you have. You've been to my house. It's fine. You can also find me on the interwebs manning or manhandling. I don't know which one. The X or Twitter account and the Blue Sky account at RR Radio Pod or Rapid Reviews Radio. Give those a search on there. You can also listen to my dulcet and boring tones on the Never Watch. No, I say boring. It's not. On the Never Watch.
You're really selling it for people here.
I always sell it. So you can listen to. You can listen to myself.
Piece of crap.
No, that's this show. You can listen to me on the Never Watchers podcast that I do with Kurt Lewin, friend of the show, where we cover movies and TV shows from either the Marvel Cinematic Universe or films that either of us have never seen before. We recently put out an episode on The Damned United, and we will be back again soon with another film.
Great
Just waiting for the poll to go up to see which film it's going to be. We will also be back in terms of the Marvel Cinematic Universe soon because, wow, Thunderbolts is coming out next month, and the end of Daredevil Born Again is coming soon as well.
I've not watched it yet. Don't spoil it for me yet. I'll come back to you after I've watched it.
not much to spoil, but I won't say anything.
Okay.
So that's at the Never Watchers on podcast players, good or bad. Kylie, close us out. Where can they find you?
I'm over on
Settle in for 20 minutes. Good luck.
I'm over on Twitch. Over back there, I'm on twitch.tv/KILEY_WILDE, where I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Mondays is our Mayhem Mondays, where I shoot people in the face in the game. Wednesdays is our Weird Wednesdays, where I put babies in ovens.
Yeah, I saw that. What was that?
Yep. And then Fridays is where I get scared a lot, mostly because my chat likes to play very scary noises while I'm playing very scary games. Or very
Amazing.
funny farts, which also scares scary games. So it's a
Especially
lot.
if they're wet. That's very scary.
I do have this one redeem that's called like waste 1,000 points or something, and it is, I kid you not, it's like a whole minute of a fart. It's just,
Nice.
Amazing.
Saving the points for that then.
it gets funnier the longer it lasts, which is not what she said. Oh, come join me over there. That's really the only place you can find me because I don't do social media. Unless you want to see boring pics of like cakes and stuff, which I'm over on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want
like
to see
food.
pictures of cakes.
They're gluten-free and sugar-free. They ain't
I
that.
don't care. I like.
I
I don't
thought
care.
it was cakes. I'm thinking, oh dear,
I know.
when
No,
Kylie's
no.
off the wine, she's on the beer.
Yeah.
No, I like food, but I don't like Instagram enough to do that.
Yeah, there you go. But I forgot I am on YouTube. Holy crap! Go check out YouTube.
Yeah, promote the YouTube. Goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20,000 views. Woo.
I know, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's insane. Again, it's because the game is funny, not because I'm funny. But but
Maybe a bit of both.
I picked up 15 subscribers, so hopefully they'll stick around and really enjoy the content. We'll see. But that's
Send them my way.
for us. Yeah,
We were-
also, go check
Hello,
out
Maria.
Gawny.
Hello.
And Mike
yeah,
Jacob.
we'll take them on our Rapid Reviews YouTube channel as well.
But,
Go subscribe and Rapid Reviews right now on YouTube.
Yeah, do that
And Twitch.
right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do it.
Oh gosh, yes.
And give them a listen on Spotify as well.
Yes.
Do
please
that.
do.
But
Yes.
you can hear that after the credits roll anyway.
That's true. Oh yeah, because Pete has this whole pre-recorded thing he does.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
I need to
but-
update, by the way.
Oh, okay, probably.
I'll do one for you.
It's fine. Thank you, Gordy. I'll send a script.
There you go. But that is going to do it for us at this part. But if you do hang out over with us, put those words in the right order, and over on Twitch, you can come watch this train wreck live as it happens. But also, you can stick around for our very brief tonight because I'm falling asleep. After show. God, it's like, what's
Oh
the
my
thing?
god.
Yes, it's our after show where we talk to chat for about 2 minutes because that's all I can handle right now, and that is what you
Yep.
said right now. But that's gonna do it for us. So we will see you and talk to you next week. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thus ends the podcast portion and begins the post show. I swear it's because I'm sleeping, not because I drank too much.
I'm going to end my stream, so bye everyone who was on my stream if anyone was watching, and I'll catch you all later on.
Everyone.
Bye, bye, bye.